or you just need a little bit of a refresher as to what's going on in our campaigns, you can find that information over on our fandom wiki. There you'll find info about our PCs, our NPCs, and write-ups of all of our past episodes. But if reading isn't really your thing, you can also find arcs of our campaigns summarized in neat little 10-minute videos over on our YouTube, where you can also catch all of our past broadcasts. Thanks so much for watching, and welcome in! Ding!
Dice Dragon, just use the code, get 10% off your first order. Shop today. New adventurers will get some things like a sticker pack with 3 stickers, free downloadable PDF adventure, a free mystery dice set. It's so sick. Hold on to your skull, cause it might split. SkullSplitterDice.com. Hurry now, bring some new dice home. SkullSplitterDice.com. Hurry now, bring some new dice home.
Don't self-deprecate at the breakfast table.
You put that down right now!
We don't live forever, it just has to exist longer than I do. The fucks I give are over there.
Coffee can be weird sometimes.
Okay, well...
I am going to be a nightmare if this continues. Come kill me like a man, you cuckold!
I'm Peach. Hello, Moon. We're both objects. I cast Meat Shield.
I brought a guest. You don't have good ears, and I said,
oh, she's immune. Fuck you, me!
Hello,
Your
friend.
mother.
Welcome to the show.
Wow, welcome in. That's right. Guys, you're here for Conundrum Company. Unfortunately, we are once again down a Parker. She's still dealing with some stuff, but she'll be back with us soon, we promise you. But the rest of the cast is here. Look at this beautiful smiling faces. Look at all these lovely people. Are you looking good? Playing their card? Oh, look at that genuine smile coming off of Sean. That's powerful, radiant. Wow, really penetrates the soul. Anyway, we'll be doing Conundrum Company.
This target is shit. Jesus.
It's so...
Jesus.
It's such a
Skull
strong
Splitter.
Kakanga.
Anyway, we will be doing Conundrum Company shortly, but first we have some announcements to make, starting with our schedule. First off, guys, be here tomorrow for our meta one-shot. It's going to be a crazy little weird session. I explained the premise to OTR yesterday, and the whole stream fell apart before we even started. So just show up and find out, and I won't even bother. And then, of course, Adamless will be back for their bi-weekly session on Wednesday, the 13th. So get back for our Starfinder campaign. It's gearing up to be another doozy of a session. And then, of course, Off the Rails will be back April 15th. Sean DMs that. I play in it. There's lots of other cool people who play in it. It'll be there. And then, of course, we'll be back for Conundrum Company on Saturday. So the week remains full of content for you. I know that could happen without our awesome sponsors over at Skull Splitter Dice. We've done it. Hooray. Never gets old. Skull Splitter Dice. Not only do they sponsor our giveaways, but they also are not only do they sponsor our channels, but they also sponsor a really cool giveaway you can get on during the break that'll open. !win will get you entered. Followers get 1 entry, subscribers get 2. If you're going to subscribe, make sure you do beforehand. It's not retroactive. We'll be drawing that at the end of the month. It's for a skull mug filled with approximately 100 of Skull Splitter's finest dice. Sean, over to you.
I would like to talk about our charity for this month, which is the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum, a fantastic organization that helps Asian Pacific women in their communities here in America get the voice that they need in their community to help make life better for them specifically, because everyone has different customs and needs. So we like to help this organization because they help empower those voices in those communities. If you'd like to donate, there is an option below our stream, a big donate button. Go ahead and click on that. Takes you directly where you need to go to give all of your money that you have currently in your bank account. So you can go ahead and do that. Or if you've had a self-deprecating thought in the past 24 hours, you could just give them $5. Whatever you want to do. Either all your money or the $5 thing.
I think why not both?
2 options.
Well, because
Why
that
not?
includes the $5.
Oh, didn't realize that.
Yeah.
An
So
important distinction, for sure. Do we have any other announcements folks want to make?
We love you.
We love you.
Aw, we do love people, including the
Platonically.
chat. Yeah.
We do love people, including the chat.
Okay, guys.
True.
Should we play some Dungeons and Dragons? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Is everyone
Yeah,
prepared?
I think it's that time.
All right. We rejoin our heroes floating above the besieged city of Neildra. Having liberated the throne of Nox from the encircled catacombs, the group had taken to the skies to fend off Leomund and his mages, as the fiends had begun to cast some sort of devastating spell clearly intended to end the conflict in their favor. Joining with Mordenkainen, Nistel, and Tensor, the group had engaged the Noxian leaders, quickly finding themselves fighting on 2 fronts. The strange arcane orb that Leomund and his allies had been creating seemed to have been some sort of mindscape spell that forced anything to come in contact with the orb to be transported to Leomund's own mental plane. As the Circle Mages fought Leomund on the Prime Material, the party found themselves engaged with him on a strange planescape. A massive wren seemed to tear the skies from whence Nox seemed to watch, as the party did their best to contend with a reality that wanted to erase their very existence. Only through incredible tenacity and strength of will were the group able to hold on, pushing back against Leomund as he wielded the artifacts of Nox against them. The party availed on the planescape, though it cost them dearly. Before Leomund's mental avatar was slain, he claimed both an arm and a leg from Baldur, who had bravely faced down the towering wizard as the party took their final blows. With a flash, they found themselves returning from where they had been flying on the Prime Material plane. Gravely wounded, the group had triumphed. Sunshine held the crown of command, and Demi Death's End. Before them floats Mordenkainen, holding onto a seemingly unconscious Leomund by the collar. Wind and snow whips around the party, but a far greater cold seems to seep into the 2 Genasi from the strange artifacts they now possess. Thousands of feet below, the battle for Neildra continues to wage. It is the morning of Moon Day, the 24th of Sunseb, 591 CF. And the day, my friends, is yours. As you glance around, you are floating in the air above the city in this cold, cold weather. You see Mordenkainen looking up, Nistel kind of making his way over to Tensor, who looks to be gravely wounded, hovering on this strange disc that he has been levitating around the space on. The items are in Demi and Sunshine's hand. Wow, my brain is working really good today. And Baldur is clinging to a broom of flying with his remaining limbs. Zahl, you've caught yourself, and Mortin, of course, has become a giant bird.
Mortin has me.
Oh, Mortin is holding Zahl. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. And
You're
that
good.
is where we left, my friends, and I hand it over to you.
How far away is Tensor? I was going to ask really quick.
Tensor is... I kind of took the liberty of moving you all in closer, so you're 20 feet from him.
That's fine.
Are we on that map?
Cool. Yeah, because we're on the other map.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
We're
you're
in the
good,
brain.
bud.
No, you're totally good. Yeah.
Oh, you're on
It's a fucking glorious map. I'm not upset about being here.
For some reason, I'm on the Brainscape map.
As am I.
Same.
I'm adding you all back in.
Oh, there we go.
King shit.
Bet.
Oh,
I was gonna use the rest of my lights on Tensor since he looks so gravely hurt to heal him up a little bit.
okay. As you kind of slip in, he gives you an appreciative nod.
Sunshine flies over to Mordenkainen.
10 healing back to him.
Okay. 1 second on that. And Sunshine. Just a moment. There it is. Okay. As you fly towards Mordenkainen, what do you say?
We have people who need medical attention. They'll look back at Balder. And we need to end this fighting. They'll look down to the city below and then look at the mage in Mordenkainen's hand.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Advantage, which is good because the first one was a 1. Okay. 21.
As you glance down at the city, a 21 is solid. You are high up, but that does give you, through the fleeting clouds and flicks of snow and icy rain, you do see kind of this visage of the fight below that was raging. It is still proceeding, even with Liaman seemingly broken or tethered from whatever control he had. It's only been a matter of seconds since this occurred, so it's hard to tell if anything specific is occurring down below as of yet. But undead forces do seem to hold, or not necessarily hold, but do seem to remain on this plane. As you glance down and take a look, Mordenkainen says, yes, we should get your friend to healing and get... and he kind of does his best. He doesn't have a lot of strength to kind of shift Liam and get him in place. I would be remiss to leave this space yet. But we do need to secure specifically Liam here.
Where does that security take him, if you don't mind my asking?
I was contemplating a place where we know he cannot do harm, but that is behind enemy lines. The only other place I can think is back to Greyhawk, or we can go to the castle in Kjolund itself.
If we go to the catacombs, I could close the doors so nobody could get in.
It is an option. It is a little more risky, but he will be unable at least to continue to cause mischief. Kind of smiles slightly at his own terrible, terrible joke, but it's the first time you've seen him make much of an expression.
In my opinion, keep him away from people who could want him. Seems like the smartest move.
Very well. Catacombs it is?
I thought you said away from...
I was saying away from people who can get him, so not in the
Oh,
catacombs.
sorry, I misunderstood. Greyhawk is the easiest option there, but we would be leaving the city to fend for itself.
What about...
The other option is Castle Scotty for now, and then move him to Greyhawk from there.
I think that worked. I think it's probably the best option for our current situation.
You see him turn and actually begin to fly, attempting to support Liamond, as he doesn't seem to want to necessarily waste the spell to teleport back that short distance.
Holding Demi, they'll kind of go to support and grab Liamond's one of his arms, just link around it, to help Mordenkainen carry, and then head back.
Okay, you kind of create this strange flotilla of various people helping carry other people. Balder, you are flying solo currently on a broom.
Yep.
Okay. I'd like you to make an acrobatics check for me just regarding time.
Yeah.
It's holding you up, but as you begin to attempt to kind of utilize this, it's not necessarily easy.
Athletics check?
Yes, we noticed that it's not easy for
acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
I'll tell you in a second here.
Okay.
Once I know the results of this roll.
I mean,
you could ascertain.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that.
It's a 14.
A 14. Okay. you do begin to feel yourself sort of slipping, and it is quite easy for the others to tell that maintaining a grasp on this in this weather at this altitude, with the wounds you have sustained, is quite complex or difficult.
I know Morton's a giant eagle, but can I be like, can you maneuver me over to the broom? I think I can help. Probably. I think that's probably the best.
I do so.
Okay.
I would try to climb on the broom.
With a little bit of support from your companions. I'm not going to make folks roll for this. You begin to cut back across the distance down and towards the castle that sits up on the cliff near the river draw. As you go, a little more time has begun to allow the tides of battle to shift. Folks who are just kind of keeping an eye on the battlefield, if you could all roll perception checks for me.
9.
26, okay.
9.
9. Sunshine?
18.
18. Balder, anything you're rolling?
I don't think he's
too focused.
He's everywhere right now.
He's all over the place. Okay. Yeah. So Sunshine and Mortin, you are able to see the lines begin to fold in the Greyhawk and Keolan forces' favor. They do begin to progressively push back the lines of the undead. Mortin, as you're flying, with your keen eagle eyes, you are able to make out quite a lot of detail. You're not a military man, so you're not possibly sure exactly what this means, but you begin to see as lines begin to break among the undead. And as you look back past their lines, smaller factions seem to be splintering off and even infighting with each other. As you begin to feel or sense some sort of collapse of chain of command among these individuals, and as you think back, you don't remember ever feeling or seeing or hearing them communicate verbally, but there does seem to be some sort of force or directive. It is falling apart into just masses of undead with far less structure, as you kind of watch from your eagle-like eyes. They're literal eagle eyes. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said eagle-like eyes.
All right. I tell no one this because I can't speak.
Perfect. And with that, you begin to make your way back. Sunshine, you are at least able to tell that it does seem to be going in Keolan's favor. As you make your way back, winging down towards the castle itself, you see the familiar spot where Mortin had raised the cherry blossom tree just yesterday. Yes, just yesterday morning, as you land down in the center of the courtyard that once were those immaculate gardenscapes between the two wings and the central annex of the castle. There are still those combat tents with wounded being actively treated, and then the main command tent sitting in the center. Still not abandoned, still not having been abandoned. Guards stand in position, and immediately you see as Scody comes walking out in full armaments, and you do see now the immaculate breastplate and pauldrons that he had been wearing do show signs of conflict as he begins to rush towards you. As you touch down, Mordenkainen lands and steps forward, glancing at all of you.
King Scody, do you have a place where we can put a magically endowed prisoner?
You'll need wards to hold them, but we can certainly provide a secure space. The chambers that you were once held in are fairly deep within the cliffside, difficult to penetrate, and not seen by many folks outside of those who work for the city itself. Would that be sufficient?
Definitely a start. Can I look at Leomund and see... do I have... Yeah, I'll have to ritually do this. I'd like to cast Detect Magic, but it's going to take a while, so for now, can I just look at him to see if there are items that seem like they might be a problem on his person?
Sure, yeah. Make an investigation check for me.
I hate it. No. 12.
12. As you glance at Leomund, what you see across this strange figure's form are these strange eye and hand-shaped tattoos that have marcated across his form throughout your interactions with this figure. A gaunt, hollow-eyed figure with these dark bags and sunken eyes inside his skull. He doesn't match the splendor or glory of the other figures of the 8 you've seen. As you look at his person, these long flowing robes are all that you catch at an immediate glance, and it's kind of difficult to investigate properly as you begin to ferry alongside Mordenkainen without a word this figure down towards that holding cell that you had been familiar with. Nistel lands and kind of ushers Tensor towards one of the aid tents, and then a few of the folks at the aid tent kind of turn them around and begin to guide Nistel towards a wing for a little more... there's a little bit of hierarchy on how figures are treated there. But Nistel turns and joins you.
Can I, before I know that we're starting to move there, but I want to look at Balder. Do you want to come with us, or do you want to seek treatment immediately?
There are people like bustling around and kind of keeping.
I'm not going to be any use to you guys right now. Plus, I don't know any questions to ask, if anything. So I think maybe peel.
You sustained these wounds recently? Says Scody, kind of stepping in.
I did see you this morning. Yes, I did.
It's
Your Majesty.
Yes. My apologies.
None taken. You're in the middle of a war, sir.
We can get you looked at and fitted with a chair.
Yeah.
And then you can possibly rejoin your friends. Yes.
Makes sense.
Right. This way. And having made that massive faux pas, he takes it upon himself to begin to guide you towards one of the medical tents.
He'll just wrap his arm around Scody. No, really, you're good. You're fine.
You're hanging on a king.
Yeah, just don't worry about it, pal.
Not very familiar with the gesture, but then understanding that he needs to prop you up.
Sunshine gives Balder, as he's being escorted away, their sending stone. They say just to keep in touch with us.
Okay, if you need anything, just reach out. I'll see what I can do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I'm living, which means I get to surmount this. I'm not deterred. See you soon, okay?
Saying he's not deterred, they kind of straighten up and then nod and go after Mordecai.
All right. So you make your way down towards the catacombs. Balder, you are ushered into a tent. And there are a few folks who kind of attempt to offer Scody aid, and he kind of pushes them away. He leads you to one of the seating areas and calls over this clearly field medic, and then says, "Will you fetch Kirik, please?" And the field medic turns and disappears out of the tent. He calls another figure and says, "Please, a chair." And you do see as a figure goes to a corner and grabs this strange folded series of metal bars and canvas cloth with these massive angled wheels that kind of point outwards.
Yeah.
And he sees runes marked across them. There is a stack of a few of these sitting in one corner. And they kind of bring it over and position it next to the bed. Not yet setting it up as they begin to kind of inspect you. Scody just kind of stands there awkwardly stepping back, not sure that he should go. And then a few runners approach him, and he turns to begin kind of addressing orders to them there in the tent. After a minute or so, Kirik does step in. This half-orc figure, similar in stature and build to you, kind of crosses over. He's wearing this chef's apron as he kind of steps in. Oh, you took a bit of a rough beating there, huh?
What gave it away?
Limbs.
Yeah, it was... All right. Yep. Yeah, sure did, sir. Yep.
All right. Right. The first step here will be Attempting to return those limbs to you, all right? Here, bite down on this. And he pulls like a wooden spoon from his apron and offers it between your mouth, or to put between your teeth.
Takes it.
Perfect. You look great. And then he begins to cast a spell,
Are you gonna
which
heal
does
me
not
or
require
cook
you to
me?
bite down on the spoon at all. He just wanted to see you doing it. As he begins to kind of...
Dick.
It's a bit of a mess. It takes several minutes for this spell to attempt to begin to take hold. We'll go ahead and reconcile this now, and then we'll jump back in time to the rest of the party.
Oh, hell yeah.
He is clearly attempting to regrow limbs. It is a thing you've seen done very, very rarely in the past in your explorations, especially as a young child in the Order. But you know what to look for. And as you're watching, the expansion of flesh and skin, the knitting of bone that you've witnessed through this process does not seem to take. And you can swear as you're watching Carrick here, there's a bead of sweat begins to form on his hand. He almost clenches his teeth and begins to double down. The kind of cocky smile and grin that had marred his face when he had made you put that spoon between your teeth seems to dissipate as he begins to focus wholly on the task at hand, something that he had anticipated being quite easy, seeming not to be sufficient. And after a few minutes, he pulls back and kind of glances. It's almost like they weren't ever there to begin with.
Well,
what blade did this to you?
Fucking mean one. It had to have been magic in nature. Who was holding it? I can't imagine otherwise.
I take it happened up in the sky. You know, darting back and forth.
Yep.
I've delivered bad news to people before. I'm not certain that I need to deliver it to you, though. Fair enough.
Thank you for trying.
Other than that, you seem fairly hardy.
Take a little bit more than that to kill me, let alone my spirit. So I'm sure that I got things to do, so I gotta find something to replace these prosthetics, whatever that may be. I got people to help.
Well, there are prosthetics out there for certain. They would do the trick. Greyhawk would be a good place to start.
Looks like I got some wizards to talk to. Gotta take the chair?
And he kind of turns and kind of flicks it, and it folds out into this wheelchair. There is on the back of it this little chest that is sealed on, and for anybody who's read the combat wheelchair stat block, it's that accoutrement. All of
Very
those,
good.
So huge shout out to that supplement for Dungeons and Dragons.
Good shit.
You have this, basically, you can add the combat wheelchair to your inventory. I don't think it's currently in D&D Beyond, but it does have, it comes with gloves for the wheels, and it does come with a storage compartment.
Cool.
It does also have the ability to navigate stairs using a sort of hover rune, very basic, for getting up and down.
I'll just, thank you again for trying. I'm sure that there are people that'll look a little worse than I do. So I'll,
glances around. It's quite a full tent. But
yeah.
All right.
How?
You know where you're going?
He only has one arm.
Figure it out.
What's that, Sean?
He only has one arm. How does he work a wheelchair?
Does currently have one arm. So there is a supplement that goes along with the combat wheelchair. This specific combat wheelchair does come with a small stone that is inlaid in one of the both the armrests that you do seem to be able to shift back and forth to allow for movement. Because they thought of everything with that thing.
Yeah.
There's also a telepathic rune that can be equipped to it. So hey, they are smarter than me. and look at your missing limb
You're great.
and provide one with that ability.
You're great. I will just go to the sending stone. Sunshine, I'm on my way back to you guys. I got a very cool chair. I'll see you soon.
We can have a runner lead you.
Yeah, great. That works. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right.
It is funny because Sunshine doesn't have the stone anymore, so you
Shit,
just
who am I talking to?
You hear Oceanus go, what's going on?
Oh, fantastic to know you're alive, Boulder. Good job.
Oh Jesus, this is so loud. I'm in
Wait,
the middle of an interrogation right now.
Salvatore, I thought you were dead. What's happening?
That's
Yes, fresh wound. Thank you.
I know something about Fred. Slams the stone down.
I don't get that one. Anyways, have fun.
Can we talk about this later? I'm in the middle of doing something, please.
I'm on my way. All right,
Sunshine just leans over to Zahl and whispers directions.
Yeah.
To wherever we are.
He lets the runner help him.
This is amazing. I forget how much chaos an entire party being able to communicate with each. It's almost it makes up for the convenience by being massively inconvenient in and of itself.
And the fact that we just keep handing them to people and being like, trust us, this is a great line of communication. And it's like, we have 7 people across the world that can just talk on these things whenever they want.
Lesson learned. Just give the party whatever they want. They will make their own encounters out of it on their own.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
really.
Yep.
Don't be an ass. Josh.
Oh, stop it.
No.
Cheers.
No.
Okay, as you begin to make your way, a page does come along with you to help guide you down. But you seem sufficiently to be able to navigate it on your own, so he just kind of falls behind, watching you with some instructions. Hello. But you continue. We're going to jump over to the party. You make your way into the keep and downwards through this series of spiraling staircases deep into the bowels of the castle's old foundations and structures up upon the cliff. Eventually, you are led towards a familiar holding room through a series of cell doors, guarded heavily, until you make your way up. Mordenkainen along with you and Nistel tagging along as well. The doors are opened for you without a question asked as you drag this figure into a holding cell. The doors swing closed, and Nistel does immediately begin to set about casting some sort of magic. Any of you with any familiarity with warding spells and abjuration spells likely able to recognize what he's about. But Leomund remains unconscious at the moment, and is kind of more Sunshine with your assistance. Morton kind of props him up in a crappy wooden chair, and you find almost a surrealness to this as you stand in this small stone room, cold in the depths of this cliff, barely 20 feet by 20 feet, with a table in the center, a couple of chairs, not enough even for the total of you, and standing next to you, 3 of the most powerful wizards known to the last 1,000 years of this continent. One of them, unconscious, slagged against this chair. Morton kind of turns and looks at you and pauses for a moment, seemingly collecting himself, as Nistel does his work.
Feels woefully insufficient, but are there manacles?
As you glance around, it's easy enough to call for some from a guard who brings them in and begins to set that up. And Mordenkainen kind of nods and then shoos them away and pulls something out of a bag that seems to be on his side. And you do see these 2 manacles that he lashes to Leomund's arms, kind of holding him down.
Can I grab that guard?
Yeah, he kind of is now holding the manacles.
Did
Can't
anybody
really tell the difference?
Did anybody see the battlefield? I was kind of making sure that we didn't fall from the sky. How did it look? If anybody caught a glimpse, we should probably at least catch the
Words
message.
coming up from I've been on guard duty down here today, but word's been coming up that the tides might have turned. Whatever happened in the sky certainly helped.
Right. Okay. That's.
I
good
can
to
send
hear.
for more word if you'd like.
Probably probably the best that we know what's going on.
All right, I'll have a run.
Thank you.
And he goes back outside.
I also tell everyone what I saw.
There you go.
Cool. That's really good. But that also means that Layman controlled all of them? Possibly?
Sunshine kind of holds the crown. I mean, do we think it was this? Or do we think it'll resume when
You're cutting out a little bit, Button.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
They lift up the crown and say, do we think that it was just a spell he cast, or do we think it was this?
I'm gonna bet it was that. Well, we don't know how it works exactly, but on Oki, it seemed like that just kind of, and then they kind of didn't have a choice. And I'm assuming if you're undead, I don't know, but I don't think you would have that much of a choice anyway, so maybe something like that, or the combo of the two deaths end, and
it is difficult to tell. We also dealt pretty heavy blows to their other leadership. It is possible they have just fallen into disarray, given that we felled 4 or 5 liches on the prime material side.
Damn.
That's very impressive, including their phylacteries.
Well, not necessarily. But these things, as my understanding, is limited, take time. So, if they are to come back, it will not be immediately.
Something. With that knowledge, can Sunshine cast Detect Magic and, keeping the phylactery in mind, kind of keep their eye on Leomund and the artifacts as well?
Yes. So, as you cast Detect Magic, a lot of magical accoutrements fill this space.
Mordenkainen and Nistel are just like beacons of light.
As is the entire party, really. The whole kit and caboodle. It is just a lot of magic. But that does include the wizard standing there. The one guard who's kind of like awkwardly shuffling towards the door is just this like stark outline surrounded by glowing blue lights in various different hues. But he kind of makes his way out the door and just leaves you with a lot of magic, people. But as you specifically survey Leomund, the 2 artifacts are obviously in your position and very, very, very magical. We'll get to that in a second. But there is one final small item tucked away in Leomund's belt pouch. There are clearly a number of various spell components and items, though none of them giving off a distinctly arcane signature. And Leomund himself, including all of those tattoos, do give off a magical signature. But there's one specific item on his person. And as you lean in, you do find a very small purple stone that is nestled against his belt pouch, sitting there.
All right. I remove that from his person, along with all of his spell components and those items that pinged. This purple item, do we know what school of magic it's giving off?
The school of magic for that would be...
Sorry, I know it's the most annoying question.
No, it's always... I wish they would just write it on the items, like some sort of, easy-to-do thing they could do. Most likely, enchantment would be the best option I could give you.
And the Death's End and Crown of Command, are the signatures on that just necromancy or other things?
There are layers upon layers of various magics that are imbued into this thing. It's difficult to parse them all out. There is heavy amounts of necromantic energy within it, which doesn't necessarily fall within a school, but there's also abjuration. You see enchantment for certain. You see what looks to be a little bit of graviturgy on the blade, along with conjuration falls into those categories. There is a lot of magic laced into these devices. Almost every school is touched upon. Can I go through the components pouch and just take out whatever is like to take it? Yeah,
just
hold on. Let me look at his spells.
See what he has. If he has I'm mainly to see if there was anything like of worth in there.
It's a lot of like you would find a golden mirror in there. You would find a number of gemstones of various shapes and sizes. You would find incense, ivory, a lot of the standard fare.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know if there was anything like crazy in there, like, oh, there's a skeleton, like, you know what I mean, like something that just
there's
like,
a whole person.
There's one whole person in there.
One whole human skeleton just falls
you know what
out
I mean?
of his robes.
But you know what I mean, like just like,
no,
see if there's
gotcha,
anything out of the extreme, like ordinary, you know. But okay, that solves that.
Perfect.
Right. So I don't know what to ask. I've been hunting this man for like a year now, and I have no clue what to ask him.
I mean, the biggest question to me that comes to mind is, why is he in allegiance with Nox?
That's valid.
Why is he doing this? What end?
We should also ascertain weaknesses.
Yeah.
Intent and purpose behind why he would want the artifacts gathered. All of these things.
Yeah.
Is one of you better equipped to rouse him from this slumber? I am not certain. We were facing down, and suddenly, seconds before you reappeared, he collapsed unconscious.
Can I... Sunshine's going to remember just this little thread of something weird with the basement at Conundrum Isle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they just kind of start humming the parting glass.
Okay.
The entrance to that strange door with that bookshelf that reminds them of Greyhawk's library.
Okay.
They just kind of see if that rouses him.
It doesn't seem to, as you hum it. There is, as you kind of look in, make a medicine check for me, anyone who's kind of stepping in here. And you do see Mortin kind of turns to Zahl. And Mortin, you're in human form now, yes?
I would be, yes.
Human, excuse me, Firbolg. I'm sorry.
In the room.
It's great. He
he
turns to the two of you and kind of Demi, who's gone uncharacteristically quiet for some reason, clearly trauma.
No.
As he kind of addresses you, asking about what you saw within this space that you went to when you were pulled into the arcane orb. Seemingly not getting the best picture from the eyes on Demi's robe, or Salvatore's robe, now worn by Demi. He kind of queries y'all. Are you able to fill him in completely, or are you gonna...
Yeah, I saw the eye on the door. Everything about the floating structures and the weird disappearing bodies. I mean, everything we remember from 20 minutes ago.
Perfect. He does listen with great deal. Yeah, it was very recently, as he kind of processes through all of this information, listening to you. Sunshine, as you make this medicine check.
I also made
18.
one too.
Oh, is all you do? Okay.
I was going to step in, yeah, also.
Okay,
I got a
so it's mostly Mortin who gets Mordenkainened here.
Huge chatterbox.
Big talker that he is. An 18, and what was that?
14.
14. Okay. Easy enough to see as you kind of begin to investigate him. His eyes are constantly flickering, and you just see his lips moving slightly, almost mumbled words coming from it, though they seem to be incoherent and unintelligible.
Even with a helm of comprehend languages?
Yes, it seems to be mad murmuring, not actually anything intelligible.
Okay.
Sunshine, do you understand what he's mumbling? I can't.
I don't.
Right, that's concerning. I have nothing left in the tank for healing things.
I have very little as well, but I want...
Is he unconscious completely, or like is he just like all out, but still like mumbling. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it like that?
I will
like...
say with the 18, Sunshine would be able to tell. This seems to be more of a state, almost like a shock, a complete losing of oneself, almost akin to like a psychological trauma or something like that. Than it is his wounds didn't seem to knock him unconscious in the mechanical sense.
Gotcha. That makes a lot.
Zahl, it might be a waste. It's one of the few things I have left, but what if I cast protection from evil and good on this man? Do you think he might be more coherent to speak to us?
Possibly, if something's affecting him, but I could also
protect
try.
him from us.
Could also protect him from us. Was also thinking, what if I tried to do that thing where I get in people's heads and kind of can talk to them for a minute?
I've never seen you do that. You're a very different person from the beginning of the campaign.
I think Zahl's like, I haven't done that in a while, huh? Right. Do you want me to try it? I don't know how well it's gonna work, of course. But all right. And I think Zahl gets in a position where he's like looking directly at like Leomin and Sunshine, since you haven't seen it. His eyes kind of like start flaring a little bit. I'm gonna cast Suggestion on him.
He is not like, he is still, by that extent of purposes, unconscious, so he's not able to be suggested, unfortunately. I apologize if that's on me for misleading you.
No, you're totally good.
Narratively, he's not unconscious. Mechanically, he's still unconscious as fuck.
I gotcha.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
I
think then Zahl would get in the position and like get there and be like, no, he's still fucking out. Never mind. This isn't gonna work. He has to be like a little bit.
He has to at least to be able to comprehend to be able to take the suggestions.
So yeah, 100%. He's like, nope, he's fucking out. Never mind. This isn't gonna work. Right. I don't have anything that I can bring him out with. That I know of, at
I'm not
least.
sure if that spell would be useful or not.
Is there...
I have a greater restoration.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
If we wait an hour, I could have one too. But
I don't know that this is something we should be waiting for.
That's valid. Do you want to hit him with it, Mortin?
I can.
Do you need dust or anything?
I don't think so. I think I still have another charge.
Okay. I have a lot, so I didn't know.
Okay.
They are all prepared.
Yep. Everyone gives a sign off.
Yeah, best we can be.
And I will say, after like the conveyance of information and all that, Balder does roll into the room now. The page holding the door open says, "See you later. Nice talking to you."
Yeah, you were great. You have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Good luck with your family and all that.
Thank you.
Oh.
I think I said anything.
This child can read minds.
Lehman Jr.
That was Knox. They just dropped me off.
Oh, no.
Okay. Cool.
Came by.
It's a weird name. It's a weird name for a kid.
Good to see you.
All right.
Go on.
So Balder, you join the party as Mortin steps forward.
Yeah. He's got gold in his face. Crushed diamonds.
Like a glitter bomb, like one of those things you open in the mail. It's just
pretty much.
I also just
As
cover the eyes of whoever's nearby.
You glitter bomb this bitch. There is this kind of continued like murmuring as the eyes rise open and the head slowly begins to kind of look up and glance around, kind of taking it all in. Arrow's eyes narrowing slightly. He moves to shift his hands and finds them bound and glances around, looking somewhat confused, and then begins looking past all of you.
You seem confused out of it.
The eyes turn directly, kind of snapping to you, and there's an intensity that almost seems to fade in and out. As the contact is met with you, there are moments of lucidity and then a loss of it that seem to phase in and out. The expression seems to shift just ever so slightly. This almost completely expressionless visage, save the intensity of these eyes fading in. There is a moment where he continues, and then he cocks his head to the side, almost as if he's listening for something. And after a moment, he rights his head again. The voices. What have you done?
Take them from you.
For now. He glances over and his eyes settle upon the blade and the crown that are sitting there. And there is an unconscious almost shift, and he, doesn't go anywhere. Easy enough to hold him in place. And he kind of just settles back and falls quiet. Every once in a now and again, he kind of glances past you and cocks his head to the side. And again, you constantly see that lucidity almost fading in and out. But there's at least enough to him that he seems to have identified enough of his situation and chosen silence.
Should I do that thing now?
Yes.
I can do that thing now if you guys want me to.
I will say he directly avoids Mordenkainen's stare.
Oh.
Shame. A little bit of shame on this boy.
Put him in the shame corner. I think Zahl now would go, Neiman, hey, Neiman, trying to get his attention as he's
his eyes. There is a pause, as if not registering. You catch him right again as his head is tilted to the side, as if listening to something, and then his gaze kind of snaps back at you, and that intensity flares back up in those eyes.
I think as this head snaps to me, like my head snaps, and you see the gold, and I'm going to try to cast suggestion on it.
Okay, what do you need from me?
I need a wisdom save.
Wisdom. Kidoki.
17.
Barf?
Sorry, guys.
You good?
Barking dogs in the background.
Morph.
Dog in this space. His eyes seem to narrow at you, and there is this moment of this sort of smug grin that seems to quirk up just at the corner of his mouth, as if amused at what you have just attempted to do to him, but almost snaps away again, fading back into that distracted, distanced sort of look. And there is another pause, and then the smug grin comes back, as if that moment hadn't occurred, where he kind of blanked slightly. Parlor tricks will not work on me, boy.
It's not a parlor trick. It's kind of just something I can do.
Parlor tricks. And then again, it kind of snaps back out on you.
I feel like
you need all of the
Go for it.
What do you need the artifacts for?
Again, there is a pause, and then this time the face kind of slowly turns back to you, and there is a moment where this expression seems to return to the face. Glances around at each and every single one of you, save the circle mages. It happens now, or it happens in 1,000 years.
Fail to say the subject of the sentence. What happens? What is it?
This plane's manner of operation is broken. You all claim, so it would seem, that this is Nox's fault. but it never worked of its own accord. A system of abuse is little more than I see. Nox simply attempted to mend that. Through my wanderings, perhaps I have stumbled across him. Again, right as he says that, there is a moment of pause where his head tilts to the side and his expression drops. And then he seems to miss that and re-engage directly with the conversation.
We get the sense that those absences of Leomund are presences of Nox.
Make an insight check.
Insight. 24.
24. As you lean in and gaze into this figure's eyes as he makes direct eye contact and kind of watch his eyes as he looks away, through both instances, it feels as if there is a second pair of eyes looking back. The snaps away are almost like subconscious distractions. Him searching for something.
Is it similar to when it seems like Mordenkainen is absent from conversation when he's like occupied with things a million miles away?
To a certain extent, yes. Though this seems more focused. Mordenkainen seems distracted, yes, but by many things. This is a attention being drawn elsewhere, as if somebody were to walk into a conversation and engage, and you were missing half of it.
What's got your attention, Leomund?
The quiet is nice. He keeps answering in these vague, cryptic, almost not directly answering you, hearing what you're saying, and then making his own vague statement off of it. And he kind of rolls and leans back and says, "So, you have me. What will you do now?"
Love to understand you a little better.
Kind of snaps his head to the side and back again. What is there to understand? I am a famous wizard.
Okay.
You've heard of my ventures across the many planes of the world? No?
Never.
Nope.
Mordenkainen. And at that, he kind of, like, does, for the first time, acknowledge the archwizard in the room.
Classic saying.
Oh, it's a good one.
Classic comedy right there.
You have failed to regale them with my tales, despite pitting them against me. And there is an edge to that. Kind of stands there, watching this entire instance go down, as if attempting to glean information before engaging himself. Not everybody cares for your exploits, Leomund. Clearly they have not done you well. Well then, that is certainly fair enough. I stepped into a space that was not my own, as I have done many times before. What greeted me wasn't necessarily hostile, nor was it friendly. Again, there's a pause and a snap. As he speaks, there's almost this jarring punctuated tenure to it, or tempo to it. That's the word. As he kind of snaps back and forth between this figure that is addressing you, and there is a constant air of malice under everything he has to say, almost a contempt. Parts of me were compelled, parts of me were convinced. You must admit, the gods have not done a very good job.
Why must we admit that?
Yeah, they seem pretty alright to me.
Have you been to the Nine Hells?
To be fair, I'm roughly 30, so anything I would have experienced has been fucked up by your guy.
Morton's the best.
Get his
I'd like to
ass.
second. I'd like to second that sentiment because I'm also about 30. So
Same.
You also just took
Yeah.
my fucking arm and leg. I don't know why I'm listening to you.
also Demi's about 32. So
Turns and glances. Certainly. I won't be able to convince you.
But
I
you
have
were
clearly
convinced.
failed.
What convinced you?
I have seen the face of a mortal man who killed a god. I have seen 1,000 years of a deity's failing mortals. Nox has certainly made his mistakes, but he took his fate into his own hands. And I elect to do the same for myself. And there's an almost manic air to this.
Yeah.
There is not a whole intellect behind the statement that he makes.
So it is nothing but hubris that convinced you.
Who better than me?
Fucking Ayn Rand bullshit.
so you see yourself as the hero?
He's his own hero because he's
Yeah.
the only one who matters to himself.
Oh god.
Obnoxious.
That's
All right,
fine.
I am the one willing to do what it takes. And his eyes kind of bulge
But it-
slightly. Again, he kind of, there is a lunge and almost anger at the poignant statements, as if he is convinced himself, as have whatever is inside him, of his logic, a justification of these choices, backed by an insane ego.
Now,
So what
Yes.
does it take, Leomund? What are you trying to accomplish?
Trying to remake the world.
right.
In what image?
In an image where we were not confined to structures that we did not define. Perhaps I
What?
would play God, but at least I have walked these lands.
It's amazing that someone who has studied the passage of time could understand it so fucking little.
He kind of, there's this tensity. There is a awareness to the logic that you apply, and a familiarity with the almost childish naivete of the argument that he elects to make,
Mm.
and yet he holds his ground.
So, if I'm
I would
understanding,
not convince you, nor will you convince me. I have failed. But what would you do?
succeed in your failure.
I
Okay.
beg you try.
You're sitting here waxing philosophical about systems of abuse. While you're a man, privileged in the knowledge that you wield. You said it yourself, you walk this world, and yet you send armies of the undead.
I
Separate.
do what I must. Surely your friends in the circle are familiar with that logic. A few lives are paltry for those of us who have sat in such seats of power. And there is again a pointedness towards Mortmankainen at this statement. The archwizard just stands there, hands laced behind his back, gazing upon this sort of almost pantomime that plays out before you.
Oh. I think that.
You have to be a little mad.
You must be extremely upset with us. The five of us standing here, correct?
It's worse than
You-
that.
You had a plan for years, didn't you? Probably
Okay.
millennia. Shit. And we foiled it without even a year of trying. seems like all those plans didn't really matter in the end, did they?
You can see his ego taking each dagger. There's almost a physical reaction, a slight twitch to it. But he doesn't seem quite to raise to the bait. I do not know.
You don't know what?
All of what Nox intends. I have failed, certainly.
And your armies, and your plan, everything has failed. But yet
His
you
grasp.
seem so convinced in this moment that you know more than us. But doesn't this mean that Nox played you too as the fool? Because you were a pawn in his design. Correct?
Was a man of my own agency. And he snaps away and looks for a second and then back, almost punctuating that sentence and validating your own point without realizing it.
You were a pawn this entire time and you didn't realize it. That's the trick that leaders can play, is they use you as a pawn. They use those moments to try to use you and make you think that you are your own free agent, when in fact, the entire time, you were doing what they wanted. You were the pawn. You were never the king.
We are all pawns. You flap about with radiant powers. Who do those belong to?
Me, technically, because they were passed on through a lot of different things. So
He kind of resigns backwards. There is certainly the air of him, or air around him is, well, he knows he's not going anywhere.
So, Pawn, how about you tell us what those items all do together and why you needed them so badly?
It's roll a persuasion check. You guys have done a solid job. I will give you advantage.
Oh,
You've had some backing and support from a lot of questions asked. Roll a persuasion check here.
Where did my other dice go? Persuasion.
Adam, add
Nice.
5.
Nice.
Woo! Okay, so that's a plus 14.
Fuck it up.
And I rolled a 19 for my first roll.
It.
Yeah, so 19 plus 14, so 33. Yeah.
The items assembled together. And you can see this look almost of a callous disregard to the rest of reality. A resignation to his failure and a seeking of solace in his belief in this power beyond. The items assembled. Grant Nox his access back to the prime material.
Right.
So you have stopped him from coming here. That does not end his existence. 1,000 years from now. You speak of time. Where will these relics be? Where will you be?
Here.
Yeah, there's a possibility of still
Quite
here.
a few of you will still be
Yeah,
alive, but he
there's
doesn't
still
know
definitely a
that.
possibility.
But
So you're saying that the destruction of these items would be a problem for him?
destruction. It would certainly make his task more difficult. Though how you elect to do so, I do not know. Nox was at least clever enough to keep the gods from being able to end him with their supposed deific powers. All they could do is shut him away.
Which brings me to my next question. Have you been to the halls of Nox?
there is a moment where he is taken aback. Almost. A sort of pulling or drawing away, and again, a twitch of the eye. There's a pause and a glance up, and then a glance back. And then there is a moment of realization. How do you think I came to be as I am today?
Did you mean to go there?
I can't say that I did.
So that means there's a
Though
back door.
replicating it is possible.
There's a back door into the halls of Nox.
How would you...
Most likely. Pressing the same buttons I did last time. Wizards nose around and things.
Where did you nose around?
Well, I wouldn't be very useful if I just told you now, would I?
You're already not useful.
Well, you're already a pawn. We've been
That's fair.
This is fucking...
Actually,
We going back to the pawn conversation? How you're still a pawn? Like,
You'd actually start being useful at that point.
yeah.
You see him holding on to a bargaining chip. As you start to see a few gears tick on underneath the madness, elements of this figure that were left to allow to construct a massive organization intended to undermine the governments of an entire continent. Moments of savvy that seem to flit in and out with this figure.
Do all of us realize that he's using this as a bargaining chip?
You're all nobody's got a passive insight under it 13, and he's laying it on pretty thick.
I have a passive insight of 10.
Zahl, it might be a little bit much.
I have a passive insight of 11.
Well, there's Mortin and
How do
and
I
Sunshine.
know more than you two?
My passive
How am I keying into
investigation
this?
is 17, if that'll...
Yeah. My
There you
passive
go.
investigation is 16. Right, so let me surmise this. You're trying to win this argument by holding on to information so that you feel better about yourself?
So that you take me with you.
I'm sorry. That's hilarious.
Well, then I suppose the secret dies with me.
But you're not gonna die.
I'm
It's broken.
very-
So we just
Yeah.
get it after from you again. So it's kind of a defeatist mentality.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's a big circle.
Yeah.
Hey, Mordenkainen, question for you, my friend.
Yes.
There are ways to get information from somebody's brain, maybe deep-seated memories of places they might have gone.
There certainly are.
Right.
Inception.
Seems like we could get it from one way or another.
Make an intimidation check.
Okay. Intimidation? 23.
Okay. There is again, that flash of annoyance across the visage of this figure as you kind of lay the implied threat of pulling that information. You get the vibe that this figure is not used to having figures of power able to reach within him, despite their best efforts. And then there is a confidence in his own abilities. But as he glances around at the room before him, he realizes that the five of you have laid him low. And standing alongside you, backing you, are the other most powerful wizards on the continent. And the sort of light fades slightly. That recollection of a bargaining chip, that possible flicker of hope in this figure's eyes. Very well.
Good boy.
Love that. He proceeds to begin to, though this will take some time, be intermittent and sporadic with strange pauses and glances away. Explain a couple of things. He describes to you the way that the artifacts are used as a means of conveying Nox across. But by engaging with those artifacts, you yourselves assume access to your own soul to Nox. Which in and of itself is an element that locks you to his bidding, no matter how well-intended you might be in that process. He then proceeds to explain, building upon his narrative, this grand conception of himself as this great explorer and finder of secret places, pursuing leads through the Genothian Empire. Following tales similar to those told by Salvatore. Crossing through and stumbling upon references to figures of death and such. Individuals who grasped the powers of the gods. Familiar tales, but told from a more accurate sort of lens, a more realistic or pragmatic lens. Eventually it begins to reference hopping into the astral sea, and seeing the damage done there. And approaching the gate itself, a giant ward holding back whatever is beyond, but also locked to those who need to pass through. And he explains that he pried a piece from the door itself. A decaying element of a shattered seal. Returning it to a seat of power within the ancient Genathian Empire. North of the Tillen Vault, a dark, dark catacomb buried deep beneath the mountains on a strange small strip of land that connects that subcontinent up to the northern reaches and into the Great Kingdoms. Down, down, down to the place where supposedly Nox reached out to slay God himself and was drawn into the void. Not at Shar, but where he had first engaged the god. This fight, seemingly an epic tale, not one that he has every piece to, very clearly, but something drawn across the continent. Catastrophic repercussions lashing out across the Empire and the Kingdom of Shar itself, until Weejos was eventually slain as the two fought, where the void brushes against the Kingdom of Shar.
Do you mean Aragol?
Aragol, I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm just
you.
triple checking. I was like,
I mean, I
what?
fucked up my own thing.
No, you're good.
Aragol.
So
I'm having
Aragol
his
was
life.
killed during a combat between Leomund and
Nox and the gods.
Nox.
Nox and the gods. I'm sorry.
Nox was the human that.
Nox was the figure who slayed them. This was long,
Yep.
long before. Leomund is telling this tale of
Gotcha.
visiting a place where Nox initially pierced the void.
And
Using
visiting
that blade there. And he nods at Death's End. Once in the void, and having slayed Erigel, Nox engaged with Weejas and was locked into the halls of Nox, breaking the machine of death itself in multiple places. The scribe himself, the door breaking. But Leomund, as he traced this, with this anchor to the astral plane, found a point returning to where Nox had initially pierced the void. Not knowing where he was going or what he was doing, he touched upon an ancient arcane circle, placing this piece of the astral sea within it. And as excitement grew for the unknown, he was thrown into the halls of Nox. That's kind of... There are a few more details as he speaks of the appearance of what he saw. There's almost a piece of the figure that seems to bubble up itself, a wanderlust. There's an excitement that manifests upwards as he retells of his stories of exploration, of grand gallivanting. But there's always that callous undertone. As his tale ends with him standing within the halls themselves.
There's a look of pity. I think I would have liked the young you.
Mortin kind of steps forwards. You say that you used this sword to gain access to these halls of Nox. But our understanding is that you retrieved this blade from Sufakan. It was not in your possession. And that animosity immediately rebuilds as Mordenkainen addresses him directly. A person can lose something more than once, Mordenkainen. I have held the blade before. The artifacts themselves do not seem to want to persist within that space. Something I'm sure was implemented by Weejas herself to keep those implements from reaching Nox's hands. When I crossed over, it was left behind. In a sort of stasis between the prime material and the void itself. Which made it a bit of a one-way trip until Nox elected to ferry in my return. All he need do is convince me. And that he has thoroughly done.
So, if we are to use the blade, we get tied into servitude to Nox, correct?
That is the beauty of it, isn't it?
That's
But
the
it's-
definition.
Is that the only way to get there?
That is the only way I know.
Right.
Pull out that purple stone. Is this the seal? Piece of it.
A poultry bubble.
Insight check?
One kind of looks at that and goes,
Yeah.
that is from his past. an Eon Stone.
Oh.
Right.
And as a quiet kind of falls over the group in this space, we'll go ahead and take our break. All right, my friends. Guys, use code WELCOMEIN to gain access, if you'd like, to our Skull Splitter Dice giveaway for a skull mug filled with approximately 100 dice.
Welcome in.
I'm sorry, code WIN.
Exclamation point win in chat. Followers get 1 entry. Subscribers get 2. If you're
Get
going to
in
subscribe
there.
this month, go ahead and make sure to do it before you enter. It is not retroactive. I just went ahead and opened it right now. So we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. All right, everybody ready?
Bye.
just need a little bit of a refresher as to what's going on in our campaigns, you can find that information over on our fandom wiki. There you'll find info about our PCs, our NPCs, and write-ups of all of our past episodes. But if reading isn't really your thing, you can also find arcs of our campaigns summarized in neat little 10-minute videos over on our YouTube, where you can also catch all of our past broadcasts. Thanks so much for watching, and welcome in! Ding!
Dice Dragon, just use the code, get 10% off your first order. Shop today. New adventurers will get some things like a sticker pack with 3 stickers, free downloadable PDF adventure, a free mystery dice set. It's so sick. Hold on to your skull, cause it might split. SkullSplitterDice.com. Hurry now, bring some new dice home. SkullSplitterDice.com. Hurry now, bring some new dice home.
What's up? I
You
did
see it,
nothing.
all of us, or just some of us?
Adam,
Every
unmute
single
from
one of you
captions.
guys.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
Thank you, bud.
Okay, my friends, we are back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back in.
Hello.
Welcome back in. We're back for Conundrum Company. It's Conundrum Company time.
Is that
When we
today?
last, that is what's happening right now, believe it or not. I haven't just been talking at you for the last hour and a half. It's actually a D&D game.
Oh
Surprise.
shit!
Didn't
Oh shit!
Here we go. Guys, when we last left off, just before the break, our party had been interrogating Leomund of Medesia, who, distracted and clearly a little bit of some sort of arcane messing around going on, did answer several of their questions regarding how he came to be where he is and what his intentions were. Some of this information was simply reaffirming what the party already knew, though there were elements of new information surrounding how Leomund himself at least gained access to the plains of Nox, the halls of Nox itself. The conversation continued, and eventually Leomund falls quiet. Mortin kind of steps forward, nodding appreciatively at all of you, and kind of asks if he is able to begin his lines of questioning. And as you kind of begin to listen for a little bit, I'm not going to hold you here through this whole thing if you don't want to. He begins to ask, seemingly he feels that your questions were sufficient to provide the narrative, at least as much as Leomund is going to give, surrounding where and how he came across this and his intent and Nox's intent. There is this continued sort of futility for Leomund, but an insistence that eventually this will occur without having an end put to it. Whether it be thousands of years from now, 2,000, 3,000, who knows when, Nox continues to exist. And until that threat is dealt with, there is little to be said. And so Mortin kind of asks a few more probing questions around that, though no further information is truly revealed. He makes sure to get the name of this supposed temple that is referenced, which is Shar Menoth. And as he gets that information and a sort of indication on a map that is brought down, which you guys identify as, again, that strip of strange, narrow land connecting the Tillen Vault to the greater continent, Mortin kind of begins to press about agents, enclaves, bastions of power that still remain as a part of the Scarlet Brotherhood, seemingly attempting to ferret out as much information as he can. You guys are welcome to listen in. It is quite a lot of information, and a scribe is brought in, though Mortin kind of never seems to ask for it. He just simply listens and watches, pressing where is necessary. There are parts where Leomund outright refuses to necessarily provide answers, but there is heavy reference to many institutions across the Great Kingdoms, seeming as a starting point for this network, though there is reference to figures positioned close to leadership in almost every major city across the continent that haven't been handled by your team. The extent of their success is unclear. Leomund doesn't seem to get into that, and when Mortin kind of attempts to press, there is a sort of resignation, as if recent attention may have A, made that unclear, and B, made things be there maybe a reticence to sharing that information.
Does he? I know, like he referenced most of the major places across. Did he mention anything with the Yuan-Ti Empire?
He did not.
Okay, cool. That's what Zahl would have been listening for that entire time. Was a reference to putting somebody there.
Most of it seems to be focused within the zones of power across what becomes clear to you that in a weird, almost distortion of perspective, Leomund seems to perceive as the rightful empire.
Gotcha.
Whether this is his own belief or an implanted one is not necessarily clear.
Gotcha.
Does he mention the Order of Tajak or the Azure Masks?
He references the Scarlet Nexus. Not as a direct ally, but as a trustworthy source of access to artifacts, practiced individuals at gathering those sorts of things. And aligning your understanding of, to contextualize, right? Why the rod, the scepter, was bouncing back and forth in hands that may not have known what they were dealing with.
Yeah.
Even the Scarlet Nexus itself, the way Leomund presents it, is not aware.
And he doesn't mention EUs? He doesn't seem to know about that connection?
He doesn't seem to bring it up.
Can we, because we know now that the scepter binds anyone who's used it, so Jor and EUs for sure, to Nox. Does Leomund seem unaware of that? Does he seem to be hiding it? When they're seeing this information not being brought up, is that suspicious, or does it seem like...
I would say that Mordenkainen queries regarding the nature of the artifacts and Leomund's understanding of them. At your behest as well, and you're welcome to query further, of course. Never want to take any agency from the party. And as he does, he is asking about the other two artifacts. The sword already kind of fairly well defined as a blade with the potential to do incredible damage to any sort of figure within existence, almost something that attacks a very sentience, hi everybody, of a figure. The crown, obviously, a means of implanting specific commands to a figure, which aligns with what you saw the compulsion being laid upon Mortin, which was not to do a series of things, but to do one specific thing that they used to their best leverage. The scepter is a more targeted, specific thing meant to work over time to adjust a figure's perception. The guide is simply a means of tracking those items down, a contingency plan of sorts, in case they were lost or Nox fell into some sort of issue where I needed somebody to find it for him. And then the throne itself, which is a catalyst for those devices to be brought together for Nox to reform. Almost akin to, from what you can tell, though you are not familiar with the logic behind phylacteries, there are elements that tie into that concept. You heard Salvatore reference them in his time, vaguely and briefly. The specific logic behind them, not exactly clearly defined, but there are things that ring true to that. Less, though, in a way that it is his weakness, and more that it is an anchor to this existence when the powers he is dabbling with would want to pull him beyond. Which, again, aligns in congruence with the way that you understand deific figures to work on the prime material plane, based on your experiences with Sophia and any of the other deities you've engaged with. Weejas, the whole concept of Nerul literally aligns with that same logic.
So all of these items are Nox's anchor to the prime material.
The throne itself is the anchor.
Throne is the anchor.
The artifacts need to be accumulated to bring him back. A key of sorts.
Would it seem like, okay, because I know you said bring him back, would it seem like, does it almost read like you use all of them on a person in the throne and that becomes the new body of Nox type of a thing?
Eventually, Leomund draws silence, and Mordenkainen does turn to magical means of gaining further information.
Gotcha.
There is a certain point where there is almost an inability to share.
Gotcha. Right. Did the runner ever come back and tell us how the war front is looking?
Yes. At a certain point through all of this, thank you for reminding me. A runner does return. Good question. The reports seem to be that casualties are persisting, but it has turned into chaotic skirmishes, not an open conflict. The order and structure of the undead has fallen apart. There is no guidance or directive, but this means that there are tens of thousands of undead roaming the city streets of Neil Dra. It is a mop-up operation to a certain extent. However, a few figures reference having seen a small half-elven figure running around wielding a scythe.
Oh.
Is still in here?
So Zen is here.
Zen's seemingly, though not entirely certain at what they're supposed to be doing, has felt a pull into the space as these seemingly concealed figures reappear to the vision of the Reaper.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I also fully now imagine the Doom music playing with Zan just running through the streets, just cutting down the waves of the undead. Oh, that's great.
So
maybe we go to Greyhawk, or
we have
rest?
to decide.
Or both.
I will begin to take action against the cells, and you have the circle's full support. Though I worry that sending one of our own into that space will only recreate any issues that we already have. Perhaps we can discuss this away from him.
Yeah.
Yes. What are you going to do with him?
We will bring him to the circle, lock him down deep beneath the citadel. Perhaps we can garner some more information from him with a little more time. I will keep 2 members of the circle on him at all times.
We
Is there- Never mind. Sorry.
Ask away if you want to.
So I think we know from first time we met the circle that Nistel feels some degree of responsibility when it comes to Liamond. Is there... I guess they would... Insight check isn't like read mind. They just want to see how Nistel seems
How's
to be...
Nistel responding and reacting to this?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Roll the natural 20.
Well, shit, Button.
Plus
Back on. So Nistel is a figure who, despite being fidgety by circle means, is a member of the circle and does conceal. However, it's a natty 20. I just want to contextualize before I give the whole gamut away. There is a clear discomfort to your intuition, to your very careful perception, Sunshine, as you watch the room. Though as you watch with a natural 20, you pick it up from Mordenkainen as well. This is one of their own. A person that they have trusted with immense power and knowledge, and likely has access to some of their more deep, dark, personal secrets. Things only shared amongst companions in ages long gone. And this figure is completely compromised. And so the discomfort that is more readily expressed upon Nistel's face, with a natural 20 as you intuit that, there's just the slightest hint of it on Mordenkainen as well. There is an air of not quite fear, but more concern than you've ever seen them sort of express.
Yeah. Does everyone want to go? What does everyone want to do?
Perhaps it would be best if you rested.
Sure. That sounds... I'm pretty much tapped, if I'm being honest.
We will escort Leomund to Greyhawk immediately. I will leave Otto behind here to continue to aid, along with Tensor, if he is able to do so.
Speaking of Greyhawk, a couple of us had to give up our rings for people traveling. Would it be possible to get 2 new ones, just to make sure
I
that
will
we
see
don't
it
get...
done upon your arrival.
Okay. I appreciate that. I just don't want to get killed right when I show up.
This is a fair thing to ask. We will do that now. I recommend you rest. Send word when you reach Greyhawk.
Sure.
Very well. And he turns and begins speaking to runners who go to fetch various members of the circle. This is going to take some time, but you are seemingly kind of... The word dismissed is not quite the right word to use anymore, as he does seem to treat you with less cold directive and more ability to make a determination of your own choice. There is still very much a, you should probably do this, but there is a bit less of that.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy enough as you kind of... Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, let's go. That's
Okay.
I was like, yeah.
You head upwards. It's easy enough to find that the wing that you had been left before is still ready and repurposed for you. As you kind of make your way upwards, I have one big question for you. Do the artifacts stay with you, or do you bring them to the circle?
They stay with us.
Stay with us.
There is a pause, I will say, as Mortin kind of steps to leave and glances down at them. Then he looks up at the 5 of you with sort of scrutiny, and then glances at Leomund, who is twitching and gazing off at the ceiling, and he turns and walks out of the room.
It has to give pause when a person obsessed with power is afraid of what an object could do to him. But yeah, I think we'll take them if we're heading upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You find yourselves soon enough within the confines of the space provided to you within Castle Scody. Food is brought, bedding is replaced, and all of those things, and you are given free time to yourself. As it stands, all said and done, it is no more than 1 p.m.
Fuck. I had a big day today.
Big couple days.
Right. Well, looks like we're I don't even know how to put it in words. This is...
We are faced with awful decisions, and we have to make them soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can afford a nap before we have to make those.
Probably.
Pretty
Right.
okay.
It's weird to think this is where my life is. When a year ago I was in a tavern, hanging out with Mortin and Demi. But
That was 3 years ago.
it was not 3 years ago.
It was actually 3. Oh no, 3. That's right. I thought it was 3 years. We skipped. It was 3 years.
What did you skip 3 years? What
That's
happened?
the wrong anime. Well, I kind of did skip a long time, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
There's some big gaps. Morton's concept of time, the Feywild, and what happened with the Shadowfell? Not great.
Could have been 3 years. Could have been 20
Mhm.
minutes. Who knows?
I think looking down at the artifacts, Sunshine will look up at Mortin and Balder. It occurs to me that these two objects, the most damage to you two. And perhaps that when we make decisions regarding them, your opinions matter more. By virtue of that damage. I just want to respect, however, whatever you might be feeling about them.
I don't harbor any ill will towards an item.
I'm in the same boat, but I'm not eager for any one of you to use one or more.
I did have a thought. We know that we have to use the sword to get through to at least, well, that was one way to get in, correct?
Yep.
Do we have to be tied to the sword, do you think, to get in, or could we possibly just...
100%,
Yeah.
yes.
I imagine that is a requisite.
In the wording that Liamin used was it pulls on you as a person, correct?
And your soul specifically.
Hmm.
I have a weird idea.
Uh-huh.
I would need somebody else's permission for this. What if Archie wielded it?
No, that's up to Ashi.
Yeah,
I'm
of
sorry.
course, that would
I
be
didn't
his
mean
choice.
to.
That would be his choice, totally. But it's just a thought.
So instead of one of us, we sacrifice your brother.
No, I'm not saying we sacrifice him. I'm saying that
That's what it means, though.
Put him
I
in
know.
harm's way.
we've been putting each other in harm's way our whole lives. That's kind of being tied to each other. That's kind of what I've done. But it would obviously be his choice. I don't know if it would be something he would want to do, obviously.
Let's sleep.
Thought.
Okay? Let's sleep.
Zahl, you know if you ask Ashi to do it, he'll do it for you whether he thinks it's right or not.
I know.
Demi.
Thank you, Mordenkind. Oh.
Thank you, Mortin and Demi. No, I know. I wasn't trying to say that I would ask him to trick him into doing it. I would obviously give him the choice. Though. I would never ask him to openly sacrifice himself. That's fucking horrible. It's just a thought. One of the ones
One thing we have to understand is that these items change people, and we cannot rely on ourselves to remain ourselves once we wield them, no matter how great any of us are. So whoever ends up using these items, if we make that choice, they are gone. Until Nox is gone, at least. And who knows if they get to stay around if and when we defeat him.
So this comes down to a more specific question. Which one of us would be the least effective holding that sword?
or me.
Sunshine, who is about to volunteer,
I've
is
seen
like,
you wield
I would
weapons.
be pretty
I will. Yeah, I'm not really.
Mortin is the least effective with a blade, for sure.
For sure. I don't even think I'm proficient with it.
Yeah, there is no comparison to be made.
Someone has to hold it. You know.
You don't have to be good at holding.
Exactly.
I don't think it should be you though.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying, if that's the only choice we have. Don't get me wrong. I don't want it.
No, me neither.
But if someone's got to hold a key, might as well be someone who doesn't know how doors work.
Oh my god!
Call
That
that.
is that is it.
Somebody who doesn't know how to hold the key.
Now I die. That was my last line this morning.
Right.
That was a work of art.
Thank you.
How about we rest, go to Greyhawk, and I guess brainstorm from there. Figure out where to go.
We have to get you limbs.
Yeah.
You'd like them.
Yeah,
Although
I could
this
try
chair is
something like
really
that.
cool.
I would like them, yeah. But I feel like we can afford that. Maybe check it out when we go to Greyhawk.
Yeah.
Sean, what was that?
I was gonna say I could do something about that, but
What can
we
you-
already know how that's gonna go.
Does Mortin say that?
He would have offered you, yeah, but
He'll kind of roll up to Mortin. And, buddy, I appreciate it. They tried that downstairs. Didn't take.
I had a feeling.
Appreciate you offering them, pal.
No problem.
Let's just listen to what Zahl said. Take a sleep, and then I'll look for very muscular, well-defined arms in Greyhawk.
Got to do you justice.
Exactly. Too different. Good night. He starts Professor Xaviering up the stairs. Just
It's quite impressive as these two basically small crystals kind of fold out. It seems to manage the height of the wheelchair about 2 feet above the weight, just enough to elevate the weight of the figure up the stairs. Yeah,
if I may,
please.
As soon as he hits the apex, he does pop a wheel.
Nice.
And then finishes his ascent.
No fucking shit required. That was baller.
He's just,
all right.
That was Boulder.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Look at that Boulder roll.
Got it.
He won't gather no moss.
Baldur doesn't have a bedroom, so he goes upstairs and he's like, shit.
Gotta go back downstairs.
He does. He's like, I actually don't know where I'm sleeping.
Wait, where are we? None of us have bedrooms.
Yeah, there aren't actually any stairs. I don't know why. They're just a bunch of
You go down into the basement.
Okay.
Boulder, wrong. Where are you going, bud?
I think I might be concussed.
My dumbass forgot what the room looked like.
So I imagine we go
we
find
found
this
you
asleep.
guys.
Yeah,
We found them in bedrooms.
Yes, that's why.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
there's
the
this like
assumption.
big main sitting area, and then there are these side rooms.
Okay.
Like 4 or 5 side rooms.
Oh, it's like the Harry Potter sleeping rooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're in the Grifflepuff tower.
Sure.
Love
I'm gonna
that
get
tower.
Sued.
I'll sleep under the stairs.
Raven Snake.
Oh.
The Raven Snake common room.
Just all night.
Weirdly, great white noise to go to sleep to.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But as you guys settle in for the night, at a certain point, you do hear a mage come by and cast some sort of warding spell on the space on your behalf. Checking on security. You want to check? Mortin,
Yeah,
you
inside
hear
check.
you hear this, Mortin.
I'm suspicious of him.
Yeah. As you come by, it's outside. You hear somebody like muttering and casting a spell. As you go investigate.
Yeah, I'll look out.
Yeah, you crack the door open, look out. There's fucking Rary right there. She seems to be casting a spell for you.
What are you doing here? Who are you?
Hello.
What's going on?
Are you Mortin?
Yeah.
I have heard
How'd
of
you
you.
know?
You are quite famous. Your friends speak
Uh,
highly of you.
I have one of my dolls.
You know fucking what? She smiles at you and like pulls her robe back, and there's like a little Mortin doll that's tied to her belt.
What?
I've seen a lot of those recently. Big sellers.
They're very popular. But I am just walking to the room. I noticed, and Mortin kind of asked that we check in. Given the items on your possession, I hope you do not mind.
It's pretty smart.
Okay, sleep tight.
You too? Oh, you're not. All right. Click.
she finishes casting the spell. But all said and done, you feel like you safely accomplish a long rest, which means you do get your level up.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
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 You did it.
Frick yeah.
You
We
Get
did
in
it.
there.
Oh, we're way past halfway there.
I guess wish.
I
I guess wish.
I'm fucked.
I don't have wish
Can-
from a
You
druid.
did it. I was a 9th level.
I've got 4 spells to choose from at 9th level.
Can I say that in the early morning, Sunshine just goes out to the cherry blossom tree that Mortin had created and just picks a flower?
I believe the tree came down when the staff came down. Is that
It was
right?
a
Dawn?
spell I had cast.
Never
Oh, okay. Then
mind.
the tree is still there.
I forget what spell
Oh.
it was. Mass healing word or cure word.
Oh,
was the
yeah.
other
You know
one.
what? Fuck it. That's cool. The tree's there forever.
Oh, fuck
I
yeah.
love this. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they go and
I'm so
just
good at
pick a
this.
blossom and then head back up to the others.
Okay. You have a cherry blossom.
Interesting.
Sunshine returns to the room as the rest of you are rising.
Hey, you know who Riri is?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
she's
One of the
a-
local wizards or something?
nope. One of the 8.
Some of the circle members.
Oh, that makes sense.
One of the 8. Really
She came
strong.
by last night. Cast a spell. Seemed pretty
Ooh.
nice. Big fan.
Big fan of what?
Big fan. Yeah.
Me?
What do you mean?
Oh, that's cool.
What do you mean by that?
They have one of my dolls.
Ooh, big
Where
fan.
the- People getting dolls from?
Apparently, I'm cuddly.
Yeah, no, we know that. That's,
Get your
just-
Martin dolls here! No, I'm kidding.
that's weird. It's the middle of a war, and they're selling Mortin dolls door to door
In a
like,
palace?
in the castle. This guy's fucking bold. Like-
Stupid. Sorry.
right.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
So Greyhawk. Should
I
we
think
see if we
that
should
makes
get some
sense.
funds from the king? Maybe. Well, you know.
We are
We
not going
have
to take
money.
money from
I'm
the
just
king.
saying. No, I mean for like prep. Wow.
If
that was
anything,
Adam.
we should give some to him because his city's on fire and his people are hungry.
Oh, but I meant in like preparation to like.
Mm-mm.
The
Nope.
difference between Morton and Salvatore is always amazing.
It's very
to me.
hard for me to do.
It's, it's scary to watch.
I want
sometimes.
money and magic, and I can't have either of them because I'm such a nice person.
No, but I mean in the
bro.
sense of maybe we could get some or from the 8. I don't know if the 8 has money even. Gods, did the
The-
8 use money?
If they have money, they should give some too.
But I mean in the sense of we could use it to prepare for the.
We do have some fun.
We
so-
also have 18k. Yeah.
Do we really?
we
I
have
never
money.
Keep track of how much money
We've
we
got a
have in it.
treasury.
and a fair number of items that we could probably offload if we need to.
Probably could. Oh, we need to get some of those checked to see what they do. Wow, we have a lot of things. Right.
Wonderful.
All right. So let's list off all the magic shops we know across the world.
God.
There's
I kill myself.
Quartermaster of Use. There's like 3 or 4 of them in use, right? You can go to those. Stop by Greyhawk.
They owe us an item up there.
Do they?
Yeah, they owe us the Ioun Stone.
Oh,
I remember that.
we just got another one, so I wonder if
just
this
got
is the
another
same
one.
thing.
Uh
I wonder if it's kind of like a same thing kind of situation.
huh. Uh huh.
Which one did you have pre-ordered? I forget.
Demi had
Charisma.
the
Charisma.
charisma one.
Same stuff.
Fuck yeah!
Now we got 2.
I mean, hey, both Demi and I can use them.
It's been sitting on Leomund forever.
I love the first concept of Leomund is Leomund just holding the stone and nothing else, and he's like, "I got this, and that's what I've got."
They actually found him on the porch of the Circle of the Seven, gnawing on it when he was a baby.
Bless
Pretty good.
up.
Get that stone.
What a backstory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't.
A pretty good
teleport
one.
us- I can't teleport us there yet, but once we get
I
there,
can if you would like.
I should be able to.
We would love that.
Right.
I've never been.
Oh.
Prepare. It's pretty fun.
You'll probably like it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Here we go.
All right.
And Demi will cast a teleport. Woo! And the same old stuff that Josh narrates all the time will happen with the undulating blue harmonic waves kind of coalescing out around you. As there is a flash, you find yourself And I'm going to say you discussed this beforehand. You're going straight to the Citadel, or are you going to an exterior teleportation?
We said we were going to meet in the Circle of the Eight so they can give us rings.
Perfect. So, just making sure before I screw it up, she casts the spell. And you guys find yourself standing in that main central room that you have been shown. There is a one of those constructs standing there, holding a couple of the rings, waiting for you guys as you arrive.
Just have to beat the shit out of us.
It holds the rings and kills you with them.
Take the ring. Can I put on the ring and then also spend a minute to study this circle?
Everybody gets a ring. You can spend some time to study the circle.
Cool.
Are these attuned?
No.
They are not.
No.
Okay.
It's
They're
just
still
essentially like that you have a free pass to walk around this area.
Yes. Also, I'm going to keep asking this because I keep forgetting I have it. Anyone want a Cloak of Displacement?
We really have a Cloak of Displacement?
I have it. I've just been carrying it for some reason.
We'll figure it
Does
out
anyone-
after. Because I also have a blade on my back that I have no clue what it does.
I look forward to remembering what any of these things do too. It's been a month.
It's the blade, the dagger that
Garen had?
Garen had. There we go. I couldn't think of names. So
I know what the one is. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Right. So we need to find a place that can make prosthetics. I think that's first on the list.
We also had to tell them that we were here.
We're here. Oh, I'm kidding. Sorry. I'm an asshole.
He can see us through Demi's shirt.
We're here.
After a moment, there is a flash, and Mortin kind of steps from the circle behind you.
A ghost!
Look him. No, it's just me.
I was just trying to bring some. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
It was pretty funny. It was genuinely really funny.
I thought it was a ghost.
Did you really?
Well,
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of scared.
have you
Sorry,
come to a
Molo.
decision? Wow, French accent. Nine. Have you come
On
to a
what?
decision yet
On what exactly?
on how you wish to proceed? Are you still taking a time to catch up?
We are
I'm going to
so
take the
excited.
day.
We need to
Good.
deal with some stuff first, and then
figured we'd
Figure it
hit
out.
up some bars in town, maybe get some nice eats.
Take it easy for a few weeks. Then we'll be back
Kidding.
on the road.
We're just doing some business in town for the day, and I imagine we're right back to work.
I understand that and appreciate your urgency, but for now, Leomund is under control. And reports are saying that they are slowly pushing the undead out of Nildra, which means there is time for respite for you all. Now, I understand the urgency and appreciate if you wish to forge ahead, but I also do not wish you to burn the candle at both ends, I believe the saying is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Maybe we take more than the day, but we'll figure that out.
Very well. I will keep tabs of you. The Citadel remains open.
Oh,
Thank you.
question. Do you know what this blade does?
Hey, could you cast Identify Bub real fast? If you
Oh,
would not mind.
does
Oh my
it?
God. We are in a city full of wizards.
His eyes
I-
narrow. He turns around, walks onto the teleportation platform, and vanishes.
Thank you
I don't
very
think I
much. Bye.
I don't think I said anything rude, did I?
We'll work on decorum.
He's busy.
I'm just saying, he just said we had time, so I figured that he
We
had.
are
We had
in a
time.
city full of wizards. I'm
He
sure.
didn't
we
have
can-
his time.
I must
Yeah,
have,
okay.
and I think he looks at Demi's coach like, "I'm sorry, I misread the situation. I thought you meant you had time too. My bad. Shouldn't have done that."
All of the guys kind of shift forward. Blink.
Shit, I could see
Right.
the scowl in that one. I mean, that was just apparent.
I just didn't. Never mind. Right.
Limbs.
So where's
Limbs.
Wizard can identify.
limbs?
Limbs.
It's almost a threat.
Baldur's,
Limbs.
Baldur's chanting under his breath the entire time. Limbs.
We have to teleport out of here now again. And is there actually a way out of the Citadel that's like on
You have
foot?
never walked out of the Citadel. You
I
have
thought about
already
that.
used the teleportation services. that are available within.
Oh
the
yeah,
city.
we could. I forgot that we could just teleport within
But
the
you
city.
can
for free.
teleport to the city teleportation structure.
I forgot about
if you
that.
would like to do so. That
We-
is certainly available. To
Yeah,
you.
well, let's do that, and then
I gotta look at this key. Where are we?
You guys tell me where you'd like to go. There is a teleportation circle within proximity of a lot of things. Are you just kind of teleporting out and then going to try and figure things out from there?
Yeah, I think the idea, as soon as we get there, is look for some of the fashion prosthetics.
Okay.
Mhm.
So tell me which district you're teleporting to.
Would we want to go to the district that Rary's shop is in?
Up north?
I was gonna say 53 or the bottom one, because that's where like all like the pawn shop, the armory, the like
Those
all
are
of that
a bunch of
was.
different places.
You know what I'm talking about?
Armory.
Armory's over here.
The tattoo shop. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Is like down at the bottom.
Damn it.
I didn't know if
Pawn
that would
shop's,
be.
I think like over here somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I
pawn
was
shop
saying.
is right
this
on
guy
the
on
bridge
the
here.
bridge does stuff.
Yeah. Pawn shop. There's a
Yeah,
couple
and then
pawn
There's
shops
stuff up
actually.
I was gonna
here.
say the 40.
Raries.
This is very good, Sean. Well done.
There's some guy over here sells scrolls. The spider guy's down here.
I was gonna say the
Mhm.
final market district. I didn't know if we wanted to go there because there was a lot of magic there. I don't know. Rary's also works. I don't know how much. I don't.
See your arm and leg. Yeah, like where do you want to find it? A
I've
pawn
never
shop?
been here before. Yeah.
I immediately said yes. Pawn shop
Let's
it.
go to Rary's. I've never fucking been here before.
All right,
I
the,
don't know.
Okay.
the Hamlet district. Up at the top.
Hamlet it is.
Which number?
Up.
You can teleport to
It's
53
Up.
up north.
If
There's
it's-
50.
Building,
There's
I think
every
the
one of
building is
those are
number
50.
3.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, number 3.
Okay.
I
As
realized
you
that after I said it earlier, and I was like,
land
shit.
in the bustling teleportation circles. The speed of this city has not slowed down as you step from the light, stepping out into the Hamlet district. The city a little quieter over here. Mortin, stretching out to your actual right as you step from this teleportation circle here, you do see a series of silver pools with a growths of immense trees. These trees are actually in scale similar to the trees of your homeland. These towering 300 or 400 foot trees that
Nice.
break the surface with smaller trees nestled in around them that make up the sort of elven district of the city. But your directive is into the Hamlet district, the older district of the city. And it is a short walk, 10-15 minutes over to Rary's shop, where you are greeted by that ever so fancy interior, the restaurant-like host greeting you. Hello, welcome. What can I help you with? Are you here to peruse our wares, or is there something specific?
Limbs.
Yes. Are you looking for anything particular? There is. You can get standard prosthetics. Certainly down south.
Very good of you to
Um,
not assume.
You, so that I need.
I meant, are you looking for magically inclined?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Like if they could do some stuff.
Yes, I will admit we do not carry that ware here.
Thank you very much.
However,
We'll see you later. He rolls out.
I can direct you in the.
Oh shit!
Wait,
right,
I
sorry.
grabbed the back of him, like just
Baldur
to
is
stop
not
him.
used to society.
He hasn't been in a city. In
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, he's not used to
Mhm.
this. Where can we find some magical limbs? That would be. Great.
Likely, honestly, the best place for you would actually be the Thungfriend Adventurers Academy. It's a sort of facility in the south for both young children that have been left behind by adventuring parents and also more elderly adventurers who are looking to retire. There's quite a collection there. There are just a need for those sorts of accoutrements. So, I
Do you
believe
walk
there's-
around on baby legs?
I don't think so, Morty. I do not think so. But if this individual says that they have what we need, then I trust them. Thank you very much.
The prosthetics are for their more elderly adventures.
I'm sorry.
They're not. I mean, I'm sure there might be a few people who.
Well, you said they were for kids who were left behind by adventurers.
And older
and also
people.
elderly adventurers.
I can't tell if you're purposefully misunderstanding or not.
We're gonna
That's
go.
the secret.
Okay, so
I'll never tell.
We're gonna go now.
either I get what, baby legs, or I'm a geriatric. I don't understand what's
No, don't. He just meant it in the sense of like that's where they are. Not in. He was
Isn't that
describing
a Rick
it.
and Morty character, Baby Legs McGee or something?
Baby
like that?
legs.
Yeah, something like that.
Sorry, I love
We
the
had
word
Zahl.
baby legs.
Yeah, we head
Okay,
toward
well.
that academy.
You want to just teleport there across?
Wait, how long would
You
it
would
take
know
us
it's
to-
38 on the map, so it is the polar opposite side of the city.
We teleport.
Okay. Yeah.
Ciao!
Horatio.
You find yourself walking through a portion of the city that you've only kind of quickly crossed through before on your way to Otto's Irresistible Dance Hall and the Final Market. There is a section where you know the arena is sitting up against the hill off to kind of the southwest. But as you cut through the city, you find yourself being directed by various individuals up a pathway that actually leads back towards the lake itself. Though where it was all cramped houses and streets and bustling chaos, it begins to get a little quieter as you enter this sort of almost compound that seems to have been here much longer than any of the other figures or other buildings in the area. It seems like the city has grown up around this almost estate. However, as you approach, you start to realize that many of the buildings are very utilitarian. There are a lot of like training grounds and yards. There are these strange poles with ropes and slings slung across them that lead 20, 30, 40 feet into the air with lines running all between them. And then there are a series of different structures. And everywhere you look, there are young children at play. Running around, there is some group who seem to be playing some version of the sport that Peach has played, or was it Sunshine?
Peach and Zahl.
Peach
Yeah,
and Zahl.
Uh,
That's right. Yes. In the
Anti-grav.
pack. Although they don't have the anti-gravity capabilities, and so they've just propped some boards up, and they're like kicking off of them and throwing
Jesus
themselves
Christ.
at each
Just
other.
kicking the dog shit out of each other.
Yeah. They're just kicking the crap out of each other. With like some extra little things and some sand on the ground in a circle. A lot of children at play. As you kind of get closer, you see this like small beer garden off to one side where you could see a number of elderly figures kind of milling about, having conversations with each other. At quick glance, they all look to be quite rough-looking adventurers type. You hear kind of a hearty laugh. And as you enter kind of this main circle, making your way down this relatively well-kept kind of gravel drive, you enter the circle, and these three main buildings, this large estate sits near the center, with then these haphazard buildings built around it. Off to one side, there's very clearly an active smithy, and then there are a series of like small like barracks-like buildings, well kept, well appointed, but clearly like intended as places to stay. As you approach, nobody seems to stop you or pay any mind to you in any way, shape, or form as you make your way inwards.
So you guys have been here before?
Never.
Nope.
Not to this place, but
Okay.
no.
Do we
Right.
see like a front office or some
As you're
sort
glancing around, finally a few of the like younger children kind of take notice, and there is like a sparkle in their eyes as they kind of run up to you. Are you? Oh, hello. Are you?
Hello.
You're adventurers, yes?
Yes.
Oh, Tam, go get Master Thungfriend. And one of the smaller children, yeah, and kind of like turns around and like trips and falls in the gravel and like gets up and like goes running off. Kind of like a little bit of a scuffed knee, but nothing particularly problematic. As the other kids kind of dart around looking at your weapons and go, "Where have you been? Where are you hailing from? What have you been up to?" Just 1,000 questions thrown at you by the small gaggle of children that is quickly growing around you. Very curious for stories, almost expectant of them.
I think Zahl, as these kids are asking, goes, "Right, do you know who this is?" And points at Mortin.
Yes.
This
Pretty
is
fair.
Mortin,
Pretty
hero of the
famous.
Black Isle. Well, one of them. I was also there, but this
One
is
kid
Mortin.
kind of shuffles forward, like clutching a Morton doll.
And I think
They're
Hunter's breath.
everywhere.
God
Scott hates
damn
this.
it! Where are these dolls coming from?
I'm pretty popular. Children.
Are you all heroes of the Black Isle?
No, I cannot claim
Couple of
that.
us are.
This here's the
Couple of
hero of Neil Draw, though, and they'll point at Balder.
Yeah, where's everyone's Zahl's figurines?
Yeah, we're the hot boy figure.
A few other kids like step forward, and now you do see these like poorly like makeshift, very similar to the Mortin doll, like not poorly made, but like kind of quickly constructed dolls that you've been seeing throughout. And there is like a little Zahl doll, complete with a tiny little Ashi. It is more like a little plush blob than it is a
Love
dragon that. has been sewed to the shoulder, and it kind of flops
Stupid.
around a little bit.
Love that.
There's a
Love
Demi,
that.
and then there's a Peach. Peach actually, like, somebody has put a fair amount of effort into making like some sort of like paper mache breastplate for them. That adds like a little more structure to it. There's.
Did you make that yourself?
No, there's a vendor.
No.
Sorry, my kid voice.
No, it was very
Like I
good.
do.
No,
It was fucking
No,
hilarious.
it was
That
very
was an
good. It was
intended-
very childlike of being
Very
like,
good.
no,
No.
I didn't, not me.
No.
Would you like a little star painted on?
Ugh.
That paladin worships someone named Serdweir. I can paint you on their symbol if you like.
Oh yes. They just immediately hand it off.
This is the closest to proselytizing they'll ever do. And so, like, they just draw a fucking star on this for the kid.
Do you hear that? Serdweir.
Yep.
And they like
Perfect.
Got it in one.
You can say Serdi if you like.
Serdi.
Serdi.
Serdi. I believe in Serdi.
You just made a new shirt to wear follower.
Impressionable children.
So,
Zahl is also 100% not going to summon Ashi because he is not a cute like dragon right now. He's a fucking imp. Like,
true.
I don't want to terrorize these children.
Balder will come
eventually-
Sunshine and just be like, "You think is it bad if I want one of these dolls to be me in this chair?" I just think that kind
I think that rips. We should find. Do you know where that vendor is? Little
He
child.
walks between the various markets. Says one of the older ones with the ability to use the word various in their vocabulary.
a 9-year-old, obviously.
Usually on the dam or the final market.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Good to know.
Do you know
Good
this
one, mate, Balder.
merchant's name?
No, strange looking little fella. Grung.
Interesting. Thank you, little guy, little person.
Of course. Thank you.
Welcome. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I think like a Baldur Sunshine expansion pack could be great. It'd be sick.
Expansion pack for children.
It's a Baldur Sunshine expansion pack.
You guys partner with this distributor and like make a
We
billion
could get
bucks.
Mortin and the rest of them some money, and then we can kind of break in a deal.
Well, and representation is important. I love the idea of having multiple versions, right? We can do multiple versions of Ashi too.
The different you put on a new one every time Zahl changes Ashi, and then there's also the expansion where it's a full other person.
Yeah.
Baldur still has no idea that Ashi is a person right now.
Does he really not?
He does not know.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Well, maybe.
There were a few Salvatore dolls as well in them.
Nice.
I believe I had said
Wait,
those.
Salvatore wasn't in the Black Isle thing.
Oh no, he wasn't. You're right. I take it all back.
There's
Shout
no
out.
Salvatore dolls.
We'll get him.
Oh.
Make sure.
We
Right.
should get.
Okay.
Ooh, mine
and I
should have
think-
like detachable. No, that's a bad idea. These are for kids.
You
Sorry.
monster.
Detachable. That's what he was gonna say.
No.
Bad. Yes, you
I
were.
wasn't gonna.
Eventually, stepping from
Sorry,
that main
Josh.
large building. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
I
don't wanna
apologize
interrupt.
to you. Go, please. No.
Adam, did you have anything?
Oh,
think
I
you
was
did.
just say I think Zahl is this is another quick thing just with Zahl is like you see a very soft side of Zahl where he is like leading down and doing like minor illusion for the kids and like is talking to them very
The doll casts Eldritch Blast
no.
with minor illusion.
I would the doll. I thought you said I missed the doll part, and I said I'm casting Eldritch Blast. I was like, no, these what? But no, yeah, he's like, you want to see something fun and like making the doll do that, like having it look like Ashi is like actually flitting around. This
Can you do
blob
the
on-
wings?
Yeah, sure. Jump in on me or the I can do it to the doll.
No, please.
Okay, yep.
And then they're like swooping around with
Yep,
it.
cool.
Yes, please now.
But again, essentially, as you are kind of hanging around, eventually a figure is kind of let out by the same child that disappeared. Clearly, it took a little bit of time. The kid now has a little band-aid on their knee.
Oh,
This
no.
dwarf figure with a massive orange mohawk that kind of stretches out. It's probably about 3 feet tall and stretches out across his forehead. He's currently wearing like this kind of long smock. Yeah, it's Crag. That rolls down over his knees and like reaches his boots, and he kind of shuffles a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Like there is almost like a matronly waddle to him as he's wearing this this lengthy apron. And there are a few like very young children like clinging to the end of the apron as this dwarf kind of walks out, and he's rubbing his hands, clearly just having cleaned them again on the apron, and kind of sits down and says, "All right, who's this then? What have we got? Kiddos, Scooch, Arnold, back. All right. Hello, welcome.
Hello there.
Crag, friend. Pleasure to meet you. No.
I'm in the market for an arm and a leg. Heard that you might be able to give it some magical accoutrement.
All right, so we've got adventurers here. Which group are you?
Paul looks back.
We
I
don't
don't fucking know.
We don't have a name, but like we're known as the Heroes of the Black Isle, partially Heroes of the Black Isle,
All right.
then added on the Heroes of Monmouth. and then
Parties
added on-
flex all the time. I get it. You're good. People, go their own way or come back or get called by some sort of deific. It's fine.
Those are literally the 3 things that happen. That's wow.
That's so weird. I didn't have any sort of context to that. That's strange.
I obviously look around for a Mortin doll.
All right. No, follow. So, Lems, can we? It's good to meet y'all. Welcome.
Nice to meet
Pleasure.
you.
I also
Likewise.
I don't have any coin on me. I can do work.
Oh,
We've got
we
it.
have money.
I'll see what we can do. Eh?
If he wants to earn them himself, he can. But yeah, we're willing to pay for him.
You guys are willing to do that.
Yes.
No,
I
of
mean,
course.
we can do basic prosthetics for you, free of charge. Just
How
a little
should
bit
I
of giving back.
Oh,
It makes no sense to keep people off the field that can still do good, eh? But in regards to, slightly more flashy things, well, that will require the attention of and the cost of somebody a little more skilled than me. I just hit things, well, and not even that anymore. Anyway, follow me.
Right.
And he kind of walks towards that forge building, and you can hear this clanging sound. And as he kind of walks around the corner, he shuffles up to a figure who is dressed in what appears to be clergy attire. They do have a large anvil symbol emblazoned on this tabard, and are just closing up from working on a forge. It is another dwarf, again with this massive, it's Crag's beard and hair is a deep red, almost maroon. This figure is a much more vibrant orange beard that kind of only comes to center chest, with this kind of mane of hair that falls back over his shoulder. And Crag kind of walks up and plants a kiss on his cheek and steps away and says, "Tormar, love, this is I didn't actually get your names."
Soul Korean.
Zahl Krien.
Oh, I'm Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Balder.
Alder.
That's Mortin.
Mortin. All right.
That's Demi.
Demi, what's this? Nice to meet you. Tormar, they're looking for appendages, prosthetics. Think you can provide it? Oh, yes, I can. Yeah, come over here and we'll see if we can't get you fitted. Are you looking for anything in particular? And he kind of begins to usher you forward, as if this is a fairly familiar business in their line of work.
It's just a arm and a leg.
All right,
Bit of
now
an
most of these...
front fight.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Front fighter.
Yeah.
Tell you what, most of these come pretty easy. There's a little bit of enchantment on a lot of them. Makes for a good fit. They go on about it being pretty much ready to wear. There's a little bit of getting used to, nonetheless. It's a new experience, right? But it does function pretty well out of the gate. Any of these should work for you to function perfectly well as an hand or an arm. We do have a few more fanciful items that we could strike a bargain with you, but we can't give it away. Things that have come in from old adventurers and never quite really gotten... well, they got a lot of use, but they aren't really required anymore. Hung up the old sword arm, so to speak, for a regular arm. So they're marked down in cost.
Okay. Yeah, let's... How about we try just what the normal ones are?
All right. Are you okay with me?
Yes,
getting...
please.
All
I'm trying
right.
to do some...
I think if this is Tormar talking to him,
Tormar, yeah, sorry. They're very close. Tormar is a little more higher pitched, and Krag is down here.
if
That's all I
Craig
got
is
for you.
still there, they're gonna pull him
He's just
aside.
leaning against the doorframe with like 6 kids around him.
They'll just lean over with him.
Hey,
So if we were to get Balder.
that's the tall furry. Oh, the little one. Well, not the little one.
He's
They're
not
both
the
massive.
sorry.
What am I saying?
Goes full bear.
If we were to get what options are there for Balder if we were to get something magically assisted?
Tormar would be better to say, but I've seen ones that can add a little extra wallop, give a little bit of extra boost to speed, that sort of thing. They can get pretty pricey, but we're not really in the business. It's just a little bit of added spending money for the kiddos. Most of what we do comes from the city itself for service. So we're not going to hit you like regular prices for those things off the shelf. And you're clearly adventurers, which is who we cater to. Just kind of scratching at his neck a little bit, pushing the beard aside.
God bless him.
And as he does, there are these massive tattoos running up the side of his neck.
Ooh. It's a shame those are hidden. But your beard is lovely.
Oh yeah, it does that. You can see him from the back, all right. Or if I'm not wearing this fucking apron. But yeah, I defer to Tormar on the price, but I've seen him go for around 9,000 gold pieces for some of the more high-end ones from us. They're all used, so that also helps. Gives them a little more character too.
Thank you. Very
You see
much.
his. Oh, sorry, Sunshine.
No, sorry. What were you going to say?
You see Balder as Tormar does begin pulling a few of these out. There are basically racks all over this space with a forge sitting near the center, and you can see various weapons of war and armor that are mostly, it seems to here to be kept. These have more sentimental value, and Tormar, as you're looking around and glancing, there are a lot of polishing waxes and small ball peen hammers for working out dents. Most of the stuff is immaculately polished, and all of it looks particularly unique and owned and used. These are personal items of people who have kind of hung up their adventuring cloaks or lost a friend and brought the item here. It's almost like a very crowded museum with very little curation. As he kind of begins to head over to one side of the wall, he does pull down a few arm appendages and leg appendages. Kind of you hear as he's muttering to himself, swapping the two out, trying to fit right. Eventually, he does, kind of starting with the leg, fit one that has a knee joint in it that matches up to the wound, which is kind of severance in your thigh.
Yeah.
The fitting seems to be this sort of cup that does have rune inscription along it, and then this binding that runs up your leg, kind of in several straps, with the joint actually connecting, again, near where the severance is. As it's fitted, you see Tormar kind of wave his hand over it and mutter a few words, and those blue lights flash as it kind of fuses to your leg, and then the straps are tightened in. And you do feel, as you shift your leg, the ability to... It doesn't feel exactly like placing weight on something. You don't get a weight response from it necessarily, but you do see, as you shift your leg, the joint actually moves for you.
I think he
and
will...
similarly, as you roll your heel, the ankle rolls.
He will kind of try and just push off the chair.
As you kind of stand, Make a dexterity save, or make it acrobatics. Excuse me.
Acrobatics.
Yeah.
29.
You are quite a dexterous individual. There is a moment where you feel a little bit of your weight go forward, and your foot goes down, but there isn't a sensation of the weight going onto it, and you feel yourself beginning to tilt and immediately correct to it. Initially putting too much weight, and then immediately again your kind of fighter's dexterity able to compensate for that and pull back, and you find yourself standing quite firm. That's a pretty good fit.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, yeah.
For the arms, what are some of the ones with the bit of a magical tinge?
Oh, give me a second here. And Tormor kind of goes back and opens this time a large chest. It's actually like a series of chests. He opens one, closes it, opens another one, closes it. And each one, you can see, in one, there was just a single eyeball sitting there that has a weird glint to it. It seems to have like a almost shine to it. And next to that, there are a few arm appendages. And he closes it, he opens another one. This is what you want. And he pulls out this appendage. And it is this deep earth tone green, almost brown to it, that has been lacquered on top of a metal finish. And the lacquer is wearing slightly to almost this kind of mottled brown patina on the metal underneath it. And he kind of pulls it out and he brings it over. And as you're looking at this, there are a series of copper coils affixed to very clearly these very dully glowing blue crystals that are very akin to the crystals found at the Citadel. And he kind of proffers this up to you. This right here is probably the nicest one I've got. It cost a fair pretty penny, probably about 9,000 gold pieces. But it really is quite something. If you care.
What does it do?
You want to try it out?
I think I want to try it out, sir, if that's okay.
Try it out!
Yeah, I think I would like to try it out. If he looks back at Son, he's like, thank you. Yeah,
do it!
Now, this other one requires a little more time with it. These actually require attunement. Screw attunement on the other standard ones.
Okay.
And there are also some magical ones that don't require attunement. This specific one does.
I imagine.
Because it gives a lot.
Hey, I'm cool with
that. But as he kind of spends, it does take about an hour to fit this one to you.
Yep.
Again, it is adjustable, where there is a sort of, you see springs running along all over this thing's arm, coiled around the crystals, but with tension in them. But there is an element that adjusts the height to where the arm has been severed, and he has to work to fit that. And there's a lot of like crumbling from Tormar and smacking away with a tiny little hammer against very nuanced. This is much more artificer work, and you get the feeling that Tormar is more of a craftsman than he is an artificer.
He's just kind of like, you're doing great, pal. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But eventually he gets it fitted, and it is a more complex series of runes, which he actually walks you through, explaining that you can actually remove this and re-add it. It's fairly easy to remove, but re-adding it does require the same attunement process.
Got it.
But does show you through that process just so you know it. But when you put it on, you can actually equip the arcane arm prosthetic. Is available in the inventory just to see what it's like.
Okay.
If you guys think that it's
arcane arm. Oh Jesus. Okay.
Kid in the candy store.
Give it a whack. There's a dummy outside.
Yeah, Baldur will walk outside. He'll pull one of the sabers from his side. And just to get a test of the leg too, he'll kind of do I imagine some drills he's kind of familiar with his time with the order, and then he'll just kind of run up with this upward slash and just slam into it.
Okay. So roll the hit for me.
Okay. Where is it?
Oh, Jesus. 28.
28. So as you kind of start 30 feet out, as you're kind of familiarizing yourself with this thing, you're focusing on your target and you're testing out the leg. You kind of start at a distance. You take about 10 steps forward, kind of adjusting to the weight and getting used to it. And as you go to move with this arm and swing, there is this extension of the arm as it breaks out, pieces of the plate kind of shifting outwards. The arm launches forward, giving you a 20-foot reach. And as it hits, the blade does its standard damage. And then there is this kind of, as the energy that is kind of released outwards as this arm kind of separates, releases an extra D8 of force damage. So go ahead and roll your damage on that. It just completely obliterates this dummy, no matter how much damage you do, I believe. As you slash straight through it in bits of stuff.
Okay, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh god, 16 slashing damage and then 7 force damage.
7 force damage. It is just split, and there's just hair in the air. I feel like it's like, oh! Cheering in the background.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tormar kind of walks up and begins making adjustments on it. That should not go off when you're without you wanting it to. So give me a second. And he like begins tightening and changing a few screws.
I'm sorry, my friend. What were you gonna say?
What? I don't know.
Okay, great. This is great.
You like it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to take it. It's not doing anything. We'll need some compensation for it.
Yeah.
Belonged to a Goliath figure. Came through 10 years ago. Hasn't really been used much since then.
What was her name?
Name was... I actually had this written down for once.
Sorry, Josh.
Medra. Medra.
Very nice.
She's a pretty well-known bounty hunter. Roaming around kind of the northern reaches, dipped into eels and things like that. Fair amount.
Yeah.
She's since passed, but she spent the last few years with us.
Sorry for your loss.
That's what we're here for. Make it pleasant for them on the way out, and as pleasant as we can for them on the way in, eh?
Yeah.
We'll kind of look toward the group. This is a lot to ask.
No, it's not.
No, it's
We're getting
not
it
at
for
all.
you.
Yep.
Sir, it
Is
looks
that
like...
me then? Says Demi.
Yeah, Demi. I was about to say, Sunshine doesn't have access to any of this money, but they're fully just like, yep.
Okay. Demi is in full agreement as well. I'm sure Parker agrees. So 9,000 gold pieces is removed from the party funds.
Nice.
Right. Well, you're all welcome to stay. Avail yourself of the beer garden or any of the training facilities if you want. Those barracks can serve as housing if you need. We like to think of ourselves as the city's best kept secret. We don't advertise it openly because we'd get all these fuckwads roaming around pretending to be adventurers.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You're a treasure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Maybe I'll leave the chair here with you guys just in case you find somebody who might need it.
We could certainly use a few more. Certainly.
Please, yeah. Just keep that.
Craig kind of walks up to it, very familiar with it, folds it up, and tucks it under his arm.
Thank you.
All right. Love, I'm going back to the kitchens. Tomar kind of pecks him on the cheek and they part. He says, if you don't need anything else, I've got a lot of polishing to do. See you all later. And kind of turns back to his work.
Thank you very much. Baldur, do you want to test those out on the training fields they offered? Just get used to them.
That might not be a bad idea.
Why not?
All right. Yeah,
Be fun.
You want to spar?
Entertainment.
Absolutely.
I'm
Right.
down.
That thing looked metal.
There are like sparring arenas all over this place.
Kids will have a show.
All right.
We're gonna get our asses beats off. Let's do it.
Yeah, we are. It's gonna be fun.
Morton, you making bets?
What?
You making bets?
What's that?
You putting down? You're right. I didn't talk to you about that.
Oh, gambling.
Yes,
I did that
gambling.
once. Yeah.
Okay.
All
All right.
Feywild has gambling.
gold that one of you is gonna trip.
Boulder's gonna, or fucking Morton's gonna trip somebody.
Someone's gonna fall down. It's gonna be really funny.
Bless. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it up.
The kids kind of swarm around you as you make your way over to one of the sparring pits, though they know full well not to step in it. They almost part around it as if a way of crashing against a boulder.
Oh.
A boulder?
How I did with them.
Ow! What are you doing?
Whoops.
Alright,
wait.
pick your poison, Balder.
Pick-
Unless you want to fight me and Zahl.
I would like to
Yeah.
fight you, Ansel.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Let's do this shit.
All right. Roll initiative.
Yeah!
Natural 20.
Oh, fuck.
11.
18.
So 24 altogether.
Jesus Christ.
And I will
22
say-
full.
They're going full like fisticuffs. They just drop their. They don't drop the sunblade, but it's still fully sheathed.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah, just to like, we're this is all
Are we doing
non-lethal.
fisticuffs?
Yeah.
Are we doing fisticuffs or are we doing weapons?
I'm gonna say you can use your weapons, but like they are
Yeah, all
left
non-lethal.
in their sheaths or whatever. It's non-lethal.
Mhm.
Magic
Aye, aye.
is a little harder to do non-lethals also. Be careful.
Why would you? Why? Why? Magic's a little harder to do non-lethal. Don't kill him.
Don't
You
kill.
can do whatever you want to do. I'm not the boss of you. Baldur 24. What else have I got?
18.
11.
Okay. It's all.
I got no decks.
I got no dicks. to keep
Morton,
on
you sure you
doing.
don't want in on this?
Absolutely sure.
Okay.
I'm very
More-
nonviolent.
One kind of joins in
Very true.
the squad.
I love the bet though that one of us is going to trip.
I feel
I
like
do
it's
too.
just
Either way, Morton's
karma
gonna
at
make
this
a
point.
gold. It doesn't matter who it
Yeah.
is. He never specified. He's good at gambling.
He's killing it.
He
All
always
right.
bets on all the colors. That way he can't lose money.
There you go.
But he also doesn't gain money.
Hmm?
What?
That's not true. You're a liar.
Um,
Known liar
Baldur.
Zahl Korean is trying to trick me.
It's true. He is a known liar. Like you're not wrong. Zal is a known liar.
Known liar. That's on his bounty poster. Known liar.
Big crime here in
Done
Greyhound.
big crime. Known
Extra
liar.
bad knife boy. It's all
Called the
good.
not
Extra bad
bad
knife
knife boy.
I have one knife on me right now.
Baldur's just gonna get low to the ground, dash up within 20 feet to Zahl, draw his saber, take the flat end of it, and just smack him in the back of the head if he can. So it's
Okay,
first
rolled
strike.
it.
Zahl does a oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
29 hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it hits.
Okay.
If you have above a 15, it hits me.
So we'll say 14 bludgeoning damage.
Jesus
If
Christ.
it's if that's okay, Josh, if he's just using like the flat end to smack him.
Is the force damage coming in as well?
Oh shit.
That can't be changed.
6 force damage.
There is this as Baldur like dashes in, you feel the side of the blade, but there is an extra like whoomp across the back of your head that you are not anticipating to come along with it.
I fully imagine Zal is like gets ready for the fight, and then that happens. Like the arm extends, and he gets hit, and he's like, "Oh!" and like kind of like flies forward. It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure,
Sorry.
Nope, we're good."
Okay. He'll equal opportunity and just sort of slash over to try and get Sunshine in the shoulder.
Okay.
Get me!
22.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look at you doing what I can't, hitting Sunshine.
Yeah.
Oh no!
11 bludgeoning damage and 5 force damage.
Awesome. Oh, I forgot. Zahl, did we have 10 hit points? I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
think we'd be.
I will say that all of you have 10 hit points if you do, including Baldur, because
Yeah.
Baldur is
Yeah.
marketed
Oh, yeah.
as an ally.
I just meant for
Yeah.
doing math.
Everyone would have it. I have to double
How
check
many?
what it is.
Was it 10 or 11?
Give me 2 seconds. I have to double check because I think it just went up.
You guys did just level.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's 11
11?
now.
Okay. So you got me for 11 and then what?
11 and then 5 force damage.
Boom.
Mortin.
There's this radiant
Yeah.
poof as
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Sunshine. I'll do it.
There's this radiant poof as Zahl's HP totally protects Sunshine from the initial damage, but then they get caught with the like just backwards.
I love that. Mortin, as you're kind of hanging out watching this, there's the telltale smell of cake being eaten in the beer garden.
Fuck.
The fuck?
The telltale smell of cake.
You smell sweet icing and sugary confection readily available.
Well, I'm looking back and forth between this fight and that building.
Okay, you're caught between the two. Perfect.
There's struggle within Mortin.
Yeah. It's like I gotta stay and get my money.
I have to see if one of them trips, but also cake.
A decision has to be made.
My decisions.
Trips one of us on purpose. It's like kick time. Like runs away.
Fight's over.
And now
You lost.
Fully aware of what is coming his way. That's the end of his turn.
Okay, Zahl,
like,
you're up.
I think after getting hit and like that ringing out of the thing smacking him a second time, he's like, okay, and doesn't draw the anchor out and just runs up and goes into like a boxing pose and just right hooks Boulder in the face if I can.
Roll to hit.
I'm probably gonna miss because I never use my fighting, even though I'm a fisticuff fighter, which is great.
Punch me!
21.
Oh, hits.
Okay. Boop. You take 8 bludgeoning damage as I just rock you across the jaw, and I think Zahl at this point goes, "That didn't hit nearly as hard. Fuck. Okay." And
No,
like
you
goes
hurt
like,
me. You hurt me. Come on.
No, don't do that. Don't do that one.
Oh,
Alrighty, and I think
bud.
Zahl just goes into like getting ready to get just fucking rocked next round, and that's how I'm gonna end my turn.
There's just one hyper caffeinated kid in the back who goes, "Gouge his eyes out!" And all the others are like, "Shh."
I think Zahl.
Fuck.
I think Zahl goes, "Fuck," and then for a moment he stops and goes, "Oh, this is for fun and for the kids." And Boulder would notice this because I think we've been in fights too much. He sees a copy of Zahl standing behind him, Ashi, as he goes inside of him, and Zahl gets big right in front of Boulder's face.
Oh, bullshit, Zahl.
What are you talking about?
Sacrifice him.
Somebody's one of my damn bigs, but that's gonna
Is
be
that
on my
your
turn.
turn, Zahl?
Yeah.
Sunshine, you're up.
Sunshine takes out Good Morning, which they haven't used in forever. Their Warhammer. They,
He's like, Jesus Christ.
after being yeeted backward by that hit, they run up to him, and then he sees nothing until their echo bonks him from behind.
He's like, what do you do?
21 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. You just take 10 damage with that bonk, and they're kind of like, "Oh, my bad," but then they do it again and hit him with the pommel of their.
Oops.
My bad, club.
I'm so
17. That might not hit.
just misses. So as the pommel comes up, he sort of just wraps his arm around. Says, "This was a good attempt. It was nice."
Thank you very much.
That's
And then
cool.
they bonus action. It's nothing tactically, but they bonus action teleport and swap places with the Echo so that he's now holding that one.
Shit.
And they're behind him. That's my turn.
Nice.
All right, Boulder, back at the top. We're gonna do two rounds of this.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
keep
fine.
it short and snappy.
Yeah.
And winner is the most strikes, my friends, that land.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Perfect.
I'm gonna bonus. He's gonna look up his all. Are we gonna play that way?
Yeah.
Bonus action, Blood Curse of the Binding, and I'm going to amplify it.
You.
So I need a strength saving throw from you.
Oh, good thing I have advantage on those. Natural 20.
Oh, fuck you.
I rolled a 19 and a natural 20.
Okay.
I don't know what that does though, so that's terrifying.
It doesn't.
Nothing.
Take, yeah.
What would it have done?
It would have.
What it did to
kept
the
you from
Dracolich.
Stop moving. Would have kept you from moving. He's like, all right. Well, anyway, he will go for 2 strikes on Zahl.
Ah, fuck.
All right.
One of those is a natty 1. I take it a 13 does not hit.
Actually, no.
And then a 27.
Yes, that hits.
Okay.
Wait, a natty 1 netted you a 13? Just so you know, you have to roll above a 3 to hit me.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll take 7, 15 bludgeoning, and then 3 force.
So Balder's got 3 strikes, Zahl's got 1, and Sunshine's got 1.
And that's his turn.
Zahl, you're up. Your rebuttal.
I think whatever that thing that just wrapped around him, he's like, what the and like breaks out of it, and it's just like, really? And just goes for another punch straight to his face. Like,
it's a big old hand.
My big hand. That's definitely not gonna hit, because I think that's a... Yeah, that's a 12.
Misses.
Yeah, that's all I got.
He'll just sort of beat your big fist to the ground. He's like, come on, man.
But he's just like, okay, this is fucking weird. I don't... Right, let's do this shit. And that's the end of my turn.
Beautiful. Sunshine.
Hey, suing again. Does a 24 hit?
Yeah.
Right. Very sorry. I think this is them from behind again. Oh my god. That's 15 damage. I'm really sorry.
What's this look like as you concuss this man? Even more than he already has been.
I think they're just like, it's all right, Zahl, I've got you, and they accidentally swing just like full force. There's this kind of as they realize what they've done, and I'm gonna roll the next one a disadvantage because they feel like an asshole, but like, they still are playing.
I love that. Okay, we've got 2 strikes on Sunshine.
Still fucking hits.
It's a 19 with disadvantage. Okay.
Just playing golf.
I'm
now
really
at this
sorry.
point?
Holy shit! Another 15.
Oh my god!
Okay.
And this is when I attack. No.
I feel really bad, and I think they like try and like they try to miss and swing over your head.
But I'm so tall, it just goes whoomp,
right in the face.
Oh no!
You hear
and
a nose break?
Yeah, I think that's what ends their turn. They drop their hammer and they're like, I'm so sorry.
He's just
Everyone
like...
calls an end to it as Balder's nose is bleeding.
And they'll cast Cure Wounds immediately.
That's a tie!
That was D&D Beyond.
What, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And you
We had
heal for 8.
3
I'm so
for
sorry.
those 2 and 2 for you, Zahl. So you did... Oh, 1 for you, Zahl. I lied.
I lied.
We're playing golf, correct? It's golf rules.
Yeah, you're
Lowest
Yeah.
number 1.
Zahl won.
Wait.
He just
I
kind
is
of...
the best one.
Oh,
he'll
they
look-
cast Cure Wounds. They touch his nose to do the same.
He'll look at Sunshine, trip me.
They swing the hammer underneath his legs,
And
no
he
questions
will
asked.
fall.
I knew it!
He'll then blow Sunshine a kiss and then put his hand out daintily.
Yes,
you
they'll
very
very chivalrously help him out. I'm so fucking sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. His pupils are fucking huge. I think I'm fine.
Oh, she time to split again. You ready? And I think you see Zahl like separate back down. Oh,
Smell cake. Do we want to get cake?
Hello.
yeah, I want cake.
Cake.
Or want to take a back ride like old time?
Was that fun?
I'll be Atka.
Way too tall.
I'm taller than you.
No, you're not.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm like... Let me look at my character sheet. I'm pretty sure I'm like 7 something.
I'm 7'1".
Why?
Half
She's
orc,
a
half
half-
Goliath.
Oh,
He's
I didn't know the
like-
Goliath half.
He's got that Goliath bud.
I'm 7'4". Get on
Aha!
your back.
Piggyback him.
I can still be.
I get on your back for some wee-haws.
Well, do you want a piggyback ride?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Dragging my
All right,
legs.
let's go.
Yeah. Your
Up,
toes
it's
are
all
just
just
picking
like,
up
this is-
sand.
Their echo gives Demi one.
Yes!
Demi begrudgingly obliges.
You can just walk 30 feet.
Oh, you wouldn't guess that a city burnt to the ground in front of us yesterday.
That's fair, Mortin.
Well, it didn't burn to the ground. It
Cake!
was
All right.
it's on fire.
Which is burning, so.
It was.
Oh, you're sorry. You're still in the process of burning. You're right.
There we go.
I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just trying to lighten the mood a little bit. Never mind.
You're fine.
Mortin, do you want to go back?
No. I think we have more important things to do.
Right.
Like cake.
Cake is important, Mortin.
Take
Hurry
everybody
up.
to the beer garden.
Hurry up.
As you're kind of rocked by this surreal moment of this relatively idyllic scene with the reality Mortin has brought back around, you make your way over into this beer garden where there are elderly adventuring figures seemingly having drinks, a few people playing some sort of, looks like dragon's chess, a few folks playing cards and things like that. Individuals not in your direction, a few having quiet conversations. There is this sort of like little tea set up with just cakes and sugary treats, a little bit of tea set out, so on and so forth.
Grab some tea and go sit at the table.
Okay,
sure.
Tea and some cakes. Little pieces of cake. I meant.
You guys kind of find a quiet spot. They're kind of low-lying, almost juniper-like trees that kind of reach out of the flower gardens themselves, kind of extending overhead, casting a little bit of shade. It's funny in that the cold weather doesn't quite touch Greyhawk the way it does elsewhere, and you kind of sit in this strange, still green space, even though the sky above, beyond the protections of the city, is gray.
Hawk.
Nailed it.
Sorry.
And as you kind of take a moment to take in refreshments in each other's presence, we will go ahead and end today's session there.
Nice.
Got some things done, guys. You did some interrogating, and with that, we will end things out. You got some stuff done. Folks, none of this cool stuff could happen without our amazing partners over at Soundtail. They bring all that ambiance to our games, all that sweet background music and those cool sound effects. Guys, you can get a copy of Soundtail for yourselves. The link is in chat. We really appreciate their partnership. Of course, I'd be remiss not to mention our affiliates, the first of whom is Found Familiar Coffee. If you use code WELCOME, and when you're checking out, you can get 10% off your order, and then you too can taste Initiative. Then there's Crafty Gamer. Crafty Gamer makes all kinds of cool little tea coasters, candles, things like that. All of them D&D inspired. They're very neat. Check them out. Link is in chat. Of course, last but not least, Weston Arcane Anthems makes a bunch of D&D 5e music, including our intro songs. A lot of their music is available for you for free on Patreon, so go check that out. Sean, over to you.
I would like to thank all of our fantastic moderators here on the channel. Specifically today, we have Stormcaller, Obscure for the World, and Just a Singing Geek hanging out with us in chat. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for all the hard work you do. And of course, Alec is here with us now, running the stream. Fantastic moderator himself.
Amazing job.
On basically every other show we ever run. So thank you guys very much for allowing us to do this show. We can't do it without you.
True.
And with that, guys, stick with us. We're going to do a raid. There's a couple of D&D channels going right now, so we'll see what happens. And we will see you guys back here tomorrow for the Insane Meta one-shot that I'm running. It's a very cool class. Be around for that. Bye!
Bye, everybody!
Bye!
Bye.